And we are live, guys. I'm so excited to have everybody back here. Welcome for another Monday call. Man, I'm telling you, these things are like cathartic to me. These are like my favorite days of the week in order to be able to talk to you guys. I love doing these calls, love providing a lot of value. And some of the best clips we come up with program come from these calls, and my team loves them. We have a lot of the sales guys, sales trainers will come on these calls and they'll ask a bunch of questions. And also there's some other people who are starting their own coaching programs, and they come on these calls because they want to see how Zoom calls are done. So for those of you who are considering something like this, like we have Mark Perlberg, who's in he's in our group. He started doing Zoom calls based on what he saw here for his accounting program. He's an accountant. So he had an accountant Zoom group, and from that, he was able to generate a ton of business. So if you guys ever want help with that, that's another thing we do. Just to let you guys know, obviously, Men of Action is mainly about teaching you how to network, teaching you how to be a leader, teaching you how to be a better communicator, and getting you really, really good when it comes to attracting the opposite sex. But if you're like, hey, Michael, I also want to learn how to turn my personal brand into something that grows my business, and I want to use that also to crush it in dating. Hey, Michael, I want to start a podcast. Hey, Michael, I want to start a TikTok channel where I do man on the street videos. I do reaction videos. Hey, Michael, I want to go out there and I want to start doing a panel show where I have a bunch of girls on. This is the right place to come. This is the right place to come. We're always staying on top of the game. Either me or guys in our group, Logan Forsythe, his podcast is going to be coming out on Wednesday. Logan Forsythe is already responsible organically for 2.8 billion views for his clients. 2.8 B with a billion views. He's going to be my guest on Wednesday. He's going to go over how you can just like grow your account. Listen, like, you know, I started with him a couple of months ago. I was like at 98K. I'm at 118,000 followers on Instagram. A man without big fake tits growing his followers on Instagram is really fucking hard these days. And we're going to go over how you can do that if you really want to. Okay. So we're going to try to offer as much value as possible. I am loaded up on a ton of caffeine and I am ready to go for the next 3 hours. So we're going to get it started with your questions. So what's going to happen is I'm going to call on you. I'm going to ask you to unmute yourself and then just unmute yourself. Okay. And then for the rest of you guys, for those of you who have asked to be co-hosts, you guys can help me out with a bunch of different stuff. A couple things I want to go over before we move forward. Number one, the Maxim party. Well, two things. On February 8th, we're going to be having the FHM/Babes in Toyland charity event at the Sahara Hotel on Super Bowl weekend. And then on February 10th is going to be the Maxim Super Bowl party. It's Maxim Casino Royale. That's going to be across the street at the Resorts World Hotel. It's going to be outside in Resorts World. They're going to put up a tent. If you guys are interested in going to that, let me know. If you guys are interested, what we're going to do in MOA is a bunch of us are going to make invites, and then we're going to invite thousands of women to these events. So what's going to happen is like literally these events are going to start looking at us and our guys as like, wow, the best, hottest girls are coming from Michael and his group. They're coming from the MOA guys, because the reason why is for those of you who have not been in Men of Action, you probably don't know this yet. It's okay to be a promoter. Being a promoter is a good thing. It's actually a great way to get over your social anxiety. It's not okay to look like a promoter. Let me say that one more time. It's okay to be a promoter. It's not okay to look like a promoter. Like, for instance, we use very few flyers, and you'll never see me post flyers on my grid, right? Flyers make you look like a promoter. Promoters look lower status. That doesn't mean promoters are lower status. They just look lower status. They look needy. So there's a way to do invites where you don't come off like that. They come off as less spammy. Also, inviting girls to a Maxim party is never going to come off as spammy, because a lot of girls like to go. They want that photo on the red carpet with the word Maxim behind their head. That is fucking gold to them. That's the offer. Remember, guys, $100 million offer by Alex Hermosi. We want to create an offer that's so good that people feel fucking stupid saying no. And so that's what we're going to do this week. If you guys are interested in joining us, we're going to be doing invites for February 8th and February 10th. And we can go over the specific way to do invites. But remember, when it comes to invites, we want more evidence, fewer words. That's one of the modules in MOA. More evidence, fewer words. We want more evidence. We want pictures showing women having a great time, dressed really well, very attractive, smiles on their faces, hips turned in towards you, looking very like what we call compliance photos. We want as many of those compliance photos as possible. And we use that as evidence when we send out our invites. And that's the reason why our no-show rate is so low, is because we provide value. Got it? We provide value. Beautiful. So we can go over any one of these topics. Let's go ahead and get this thing started. I'm going to start with, you know what? I'm going to knock this one out of the park first. Cade, go ahead and unmute yourself, brother.
Hey, Michael. Thank you.
What's going on, man?
So my question was, in about 30 days, I get my driver's license and I'll finally be able to drive. And so this is really going to be a time for me to be able to focus on the gym and focus on stacking savings as well. I was just wondering if there was any additional advice you would want to give me.
Yeah, I think the additional advice for the rest of us is to like lock our doors because Cade's going to come steal your girlfriend. Cade just got a car, guys. You better watch out. Cade, guys, I'm sorry. I'm just so marveled by this every time. Cade, how old are you, man?
15, about to turn 16.
Cade is 15, and he is going to know more by the time that he's 18 than I knew when I was 40. Do you guys understand that? Do you guys understand how fucking awesome, if you know what you're doing, the internet is? You understand how fucking great, sorry, Cade, I shouldn't be using profanity. You're 15. But you understand how awesome this is that Cade is going to learn? I know, exactly. I'm so jealous of this. The reality of the situation is, Cade, this is one of the situations where I want you to be very careful. Your growth plates don't really close up in your shoulders, your hips, places like that. They don't completely close up until you're in like your early 20s. So that's why like weight training, I wouldn't go with super heavy weight training at 15. I would do enough. I would make sure to be limber, and I would definitely do some weight training. What you're going to see by the time you're 15 to the time you're 18, you're going to look like you're on steroids. Your whole your body's going to change. That's what happens for a lot of guys, especially if you play football. To do that. A couple things. This is not an issue for you. I don't think you would do this or whatever, but you live in Texas, right, Cade?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. There is, I'm not telling you secrets here. There is a propensity for Texas high school football players to experiment it with anabolic steroids. Stay away from that. Stay away from that. That's the only thing I'll tell you. Okay. Don't ever, none of you guys right now, if you want to talk about stunning your growth, if you guys ever consider experimenting with anabolics and you did it before you're 25, you're crazy. I would never do that. Seriously, you would rather just be shorter. That was no fucking way I would ever do that. So stay away from that stuff. Okay. But as far as the weight training is concerned, just find a gym near you. I mean, you already know what to do. If you want me to, I can help you out, Kate. Hit me up and I'll give you like a 4-way split that I do for my workout. But my only concern with you is like, I don't want you to become so heavy into weight training at 15, maybe when you're 17, 18 for sure.
Yes, sir.
Got it?
You'll get a chuckle out of this. The other day, my uncle came into town, and we were sitting around at a family dinner. And he turns to the family. He's like, "Yeah, I follow this really funny kid on Instagram. He's always surrounded by blondes, and he always has these really funny captions." And he's like, "Cade Green." And my whole family had a chuckle at that. But it's just proof that what you teach works. And
That's
even like
hilarious.
high school, like people just think you're higher status from having women.
God, can you imagine, guys? If I knew this, like Kate is in high school, guys. Do you understand how he's going to crush? This is crazy. I just can't even imagine having some of these advantages I have now in high school. Bro, my girlfriend the other day, she was telling me when she lost her virginity, and I lost mine at 19. And she was like, "Oh my God, you didn't lose it in high school or whatever." And I'm like, no one would have ever had sex with me in high school. Are you kidding me? No one. Well, dude, when I was 15, there is no prayer that somebody was going to have sex with me, bro. I had no idea what I was doing. I had no idea. I know, dude, you are just killing it, man. I know. So we're gonna, dude. I'm excited, Kate. In like 8 years, when you're, the lead sales guy for Men of Action, I'm excited to. I'm excited for those days, man.
That's the goal.
All right, Kate. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. You motivate
you.
all of us. I think the name is Kias. Kias, cool.
Hi,
Keys.
can you
Hey, what's
hear
going on,
me?
man? Yeah, sure can,
Yeah, it's
man.
Case.
Case.
So, yeah, exactly. So my question was, your program is about networking, and I wanted to do networking so I could be a motorcycle racer, even though it could be just amateur. And I thought that many of the people in my city, Montreal, they have private accounts, and I was wondering if I could add them to the list because I fixed my Instagram, and right
Yeah.
now I'm doing the list.
Yeah. So when you this is a great question. If you have a list and you like know some of these girls and you want to invite them to an event, or even guys too, they'll be private. When they're in private, you obviously request if you want to, but you don't have to. Up at the top right, you'll see these 3 dots. I think it's 3 dots. Let me see if it's still like that. I'd have to see an account that's private right now. Let me see if I can find one that's private.
Mine
Yeah,
is
there's three dots at the top right. If you go to the top right and click on that, you'll see a thing will come down and you can send a message to someone even if it's private. Okay. The first one's free. You can send any message you want. After that, they aren't going to let you continually send messages. And the way around that is to reply to story. You would reply to the story. Now, if they're private, they aren't going to have any stories, so you won't be able to see it. But if they accept your invite, then they will. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. And also, I don't know if I can ask a second question, really
Go
short.
ahead. Mhm.
You talked in an earlier, not a stream, but a call like this. You talked earlier about a program that you would make because some people, because of simple economics, they couldn't afford the main programs. So, in
Oh
people
yeah.
like in South America and Africa. So, I
Yeah.
wanted to know what's about that.
So it's going to be, so I've been scolded by my partners to not talk about this too much, but I don't give a shit because I'm the CEO. We're going to have a low ticket offer at some point in the future. I would say 3 years would be too late. 2 years more likely. 1 year is a possibility. And it's going to be a low ticket offer. It will just be modules. It won't be any like live coaching other than this free Monday call that we're going to do. And then we're probably, when we do that, we're going to have a community just for this less expensive offer that we have. This is just going to be a huge scalable offer. It won't be any sales team, anything like that, but it's just going to be an alternative. But the point of it is we're going to try to help you out so that you can eventually get into the bigger program. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So, if
But
I
this is
understood
specifically
correctly,
specifically because I have so many fans in Brazil and India that just can't afford the
mhm.
program. That's the reason why I want to do this.
Okay. So, in like around 1 or 2 years, is that
Mhm.
when it
Yeah,
would
but here's
be
the thing,
made?
man. Like, here's the thing. Have you gone through the free program?
I haven't got to second. So I made the first class on the school. I finished it, but I'm not level 2, so I can't access the free audit for my Instagram yet.
Oh yeah, just comment then. Just like just do some comments, like post some links, get
Okay.
people to respond to you. That's all you got to do. Do one and tag me, and I'll respond to it.
Okay. Yeah, sure. I'll do that.
Got it? Okay. So for those
Yeah.
of you who don't understand what he's saying, he's like, well, are we going to have a low ticket course in the future? And the answer is we will. But like before we have the low ticket course, guys, why not just go to this course right here? It's completely free. Just go right here in the Men of Action forum. All of this is free to you. Do you guys understand? Dude, there's 100 hours worth of shit in here, and it's free. I'll tell you what, I'm going to copy and paste this real quick. I'm going to, let me go to Men of Action Forum. I'm going to copy and paste this. And if you guys are interested, all you got to do is click on that link and you guys can join us anytime you want, man. The whole community is there and it's there anytime you want. There you go. Beautiful. Let's go to the next question here. It's going to be Constantine. Constantine, what's your question?
Hey Michael, thanks. Appreciate all your support. I just signed up for MOA yesterday, so I'm
Awesome.
excited to get started. In fact, I signed up for Cole's program a year and a half ago because I saw him on your podcast. So the reason I'm in high ticket sales is because of you, indirectly or directly. So thank you.
Dude, Cole is awesome, bro. Cole, guys, let me tell you something. All right. Maybe Cole get mad for me saying this, but I'm just going to say it anyway. Cole was a bartender 6 or 7 years ago. Okay. Cole, his business, I won't say what he makes. His business does 35 million a year, somewhere there, 33 million a year. He was a bartender 6 years ago, guys. High ticket sales. I'm not going to tell you what to do with your life. What I am going to tell you is if you're young and you have like the ability to sit on your ass and to call motherfuckers and just have nothing but discipline and determination, and you are just like, I'm making this money no matter what, I would highly recommend you learn high ticket sales like what he just said. That's one place where it's like, okay, I'll give you an example. Who here, put a 1 in the chat if you guys watch any NFL football. If you guys watch any NFL, put a 1 in the chat. If you guys watch any NFL football, okay? Cool. If you guys watch any NFL football, you guys see guys that are like spares, like Andy Dalton and fucking Jameis Winston. And they're just guys like this. It's like middle of the road players. They're not good quarterbacks. Do they get cut out of the league, or are there just not enough good quarterbacks in the league? Like Derek Carr is a starting quarterback in the NFL. That's how bad the NFL is, right? Dalton replaces Winston. Exactly. My point is there's so many spare quarterbacks, but because they play quarterback, there's always a place for them because there's 64 quarterback spots in the NFL. If you are in high ticket sales, you're like a quarterback. Even if you're average, there's still a ton of places that would hire you in 2 seconds, especially startups. And then you can negotiate for better commissions. If you are in high ticket sale, like if you were to look at my company as a car, as like a Ferrari, the sales department of it is the fucking 500 horsepower engine. It's so important. If you were to look at it, like my sales team is like my offensive line. Like they're just like they're everything. The whole company runs behind it. Okay, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I think it sells forever. Yeah, no, look, Michael's saying the same thing. He's been at Cole Gordon stuff. I'm actually, I got a little surprise for you. I'm interviewing Jeremy Minor next month.
That's awesome.
He's coming on my podcast.
That was actually what was my question, which is that in the first couple modules, you talk about creating an Instagram and how to make it look. Now, my question is, can I leverage my Instagram to be used as business networking? So combine showing access to scarce resources with my business, which is sales training. So similar to what Minor does. So having like 3 posts of, you in exotic locations or whatever the case is, and like 3 posts for business. Do you recommend combining both or having separate accounts?
Yes. So the reason why so we talk about this is a great thing. Anybody listening to this, if you want to combine your business with your social media and your social life, your dating life, whatever, you want to put it all together. Listen to what I'm saying. There are sexy businesses and there are boring businesses. Okay. I have a lifestyle brand where I coach guys and I also host bikini competitions. I would be what's considered a sexy business. I'm a performance coach, which means that I can show my life and I can show my business on the same Instagram platform. If I was taking pictures of bikini models, if I owned a luxury car dealership, if I was a plastic surgeon, if I was a dude who, if I ran a Wet and Wild, I don't know, like something that looks cool on camera. I was an artist. I was a spelunker or what's it called? A hiker, like a world-class mountain climber, whatever. Or I flew jets or I flew helicopters. Those are situations where your job is sexy so you can show it on Instagram. If you're an accountant, you got to do a little finagling. Okay. If you work in debt reconsolidation or reverse insurance, got to do a little bit of fucking consolidating. A great example of a guy in reverse insurance who has like killer fucking social media is Adam Sosnick. Adam Sosnick takes his expertise and he uses it on a podcast. And dude, they are throwing it at Adam. Like I don't mean to embarrass Adam, but like if we walk in a room with Adam Sosnick, the girls are literally handing me their phones to take a picture of them with Adam. Like Adam is fucking crushing it. All right. Why is that? Because he knows, even though he's in a boring business, really is reverse insurance is not an exciting business. But he still knows how to show a lifestyle and he still knows how to show competency. So it makes him more attractive to the opposite sex and makes people want to network with him. So in this situation, what is the business? It's sales training. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. Now, have you noticed the new guys that are getting into sales training? Are they younger or are they older?
They seem to be a little bit younger, but they're not. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. From the guys who are sales trainers, the ones who are just always be closing, that are like killers.
Yeah.
Do you ever have any group chats with them?
No.
You don't have any group chats with sales guys?
Well, they're a bit pointless, but I get your point. Like
have you ever been, dude? It's like a goddamn locker room in there.
Yeah.
It's just nothing but like they just send the most vile memes to each other and they just score it. Dude, being on a sales team is like playing high school football. It's just like, it's great. There's a hierarchy, all that kind of stuff. Like our sales chat, we have a closers chat. What my point is, do those guys get offended by much?
No.
Have you know, like this is just my personal thing. I've noticed that my sales guys don't get offended by shit. Mm-hmm. Right? So Constantine, if you had what I'm saying is, if I had the Michael Sartain Invitational Bikini Competition, do you think my sales guys would quit?
No.
No. My point is, do you see how I can mesh my lifestyle in with my business and nobody's offended? You're in one of those businesses where you can do that.
Awesome. So
now I will tell you, I will tell you this again. I don't want to snitch on Cole or whatever. Cole specifically doesn't want to get involved in that type of shit. Cole is very much about image and he has some huge clients. So he very much is go to church, type of like he very, very clean cut look online for his sales training course. And you can do that, but I know other guys who don't do that. Mm-hmm. Ryan Stewman is a great example of a dude who, went to jail for several years for selling drugs and he's a sales trainer, right? Mm-hmm. Another guy who helps his sales team a ton is Brad Lee, driving around in his Ferrari, talking about crazy shit to do with aliens and stuff like that. Like Brad is smoking cigars and drinking cognac. Like Brad says some pretty controversial stuff. You have to decide what's good for you. So Brad is kind of in sales and so is Pineda. Pineda's pretty clean cut. I mean, he's very, very Christian. But like some of these guys that are in sales, some of them are not the most clean cut dudes. But like you said before, I found salespeople to be like the hardest people in the world to offend. If you can get them leads and you can make them money, they don't give a shit.
Awesome.
Make sense?
Yeah. Thanks, Mike.
Love it. Yeah. Shout out to my sales team. I need to take them all to dinner at some point. These guys are awesome. All right, let's go to Zenith. Zenith, what's your question?
Hey, Michael, can you hear me?
Sure can.
Thanks for taking the question. Apologize for the anonymity. I do clearance work, which is why I do that, and it's part of the question.
Oh, no, dude, I wouldn't even care. If you told me you did clearance work and you didn't turn your camera on, I wouldn't care. It's totally fine. I did it. I did the same thing.
Fair enough. I was going to say, speaking of your sales team, shout out to Jordan. He didn't end up closing me, but he's been following up a few times, and he seems like a good dude. But also, I actually came from...
Zenith. Has Jordan accidentally sent you photos of him with a bunch of hot girls? Has he done that yet?
No.
No, we told I've been telling the guys to do that shit. I think it's awesome. It's like, hey, man, it's just me with like 56 girls. I'm like, hey, just checking up on you. You doing okay? You know what I'm saying? It's just so great. Because the thing is, for us, it's like, we don't want to sell you. We want to save you. People come into this community and they never want to leave. They want to fucking work for us. And I'm so privileged to be a part of it, dude. It's so fucking awesome. You know what I'm saying? Like, all of our sales guys went through the program. They're all MOA guys. And that's why they just fucking crush it and they understand it. And then you look at their IGs and they're just like surrounded by hot girls. And then they're hitting me up being like, Michael, I don't have time to date these women while I'm fucking working for you. You know?
I hear you. It's a hell of a strategy, but honestly, like, the whole dating thing was not one of the reasons I was interested in the program. But I will say this, everybody I've run into on the MOA team has been fantastic. I think I actually have one of your guys booked for a book club live stream I'm doing February 8th. So looking forward to that.
Nice. A book club live stream. How does that work?
Yeah. So I guess here's my sales pitch. I actually come from Miguel and Charlie's community. I am part of a team. We do cryptocurrency investment. We talk about macroeconomics on live streams. And then as part of my personal project, every other week, I cover a book that's related to personal finance or personal growth. This next week, we're actually doing how to win friends and influence people. So I leads into my question, which was, our team has actually been having a little bit of success. We're starting to actually get monetized and start reaching out to guests. I got asked to like guest host other streams and stuff. I actually called a little less than a year ago and I was running just a faceless crypto meme page. And you told me that was fantastic. But now that I've been coming out more in front of the camera, I'm trying to wonder, like, do I need to relaunch like a new Instagram with like my personal brand so I can actually start doing more outreach and like maybe even potentially host like IRL events and stuff?
Would you be willing to host a panel show, a podcast, something like what Miguel does with Dollar Cost Crypto? Would you be willing to do that?
I already do that.
Okay. All right, cool. I thought that's what I heard you say before. I just want to make sure. Do you do any panel shows or is it just a regular podcast like one-to-one?
It's all panel shows. Actually, we have like a stable of 10 guys over there. And are
you using like Restream with like 6 different faces up there? Is that what you're doing?
A little bit. We use StreamYard, and then there's somebody that's like hosting in charge of everything. We have co-hosts and panelists, and then whenever we have special guests on like Wednesdays, they're obviously the special folks that come on.
Okay, you're way past the beginning of where I was going to start. That's awesome. Okay, cool. You got that part settled down. That you also understand the technology too. The question you were asking about is your personal brand, so that you can throw events.
Yeah, that's a bit of it. So I've been doing the faceless stuff like you told me to do about a year ago. Yeah. And obviously I've been putting myself out there more and more now. Do I need to have multiple accounts as like separate things?
I don't think so. I really don't think so. I don't, because again, crypto is, believe it or not, it's like kind of on the sexy side of businesses that you can show on Instagram.
I would argue it's actually getting what's the word I'm looking for? Deranked on any platform that's not.
Oh, it probably
Twitter.
is. Have you tried do you ever post the memes, those Twitter memes or those crypto memes?
That's entirely what my current account is.
That's beautiful. That's so great. Yeah, that's right. That is what I told you. I'm sorry, I forget. I'm starting to remember that was a year ago. I do remember telling you. I love crypto memes. Crypto memes are the best. So my whole thing is I don't think you need 2 different things. Most of the guys that I know that do this, they have one account. But I would include a little bit of lifestyle. You're not here for the ladies though, right? You're here because you want to throw your own events, right?
Yeah, and then also, honestly, the reason that I didn't join MOA previously was I've been trying to get something off the ground before trying to do all the networking stuff. I wanted to make sure I have actually something of substance to offer instead of just promote nothing.
Of course. So let's try this instead. Okay, so let's do this. Can you use and I don't have your Instagram in front of me, so don't I'm sorry if you're already doing this and I don't see it. So for me, it's clips and collaborations. So clips from my show and collaborations with other people that have bigger followings than me. And my reels section on my Instagram is nothing but that. but they get to see my face on a regular basis. You have no idea how many people come up to me every week and they're like, I know you, I see you online all the time. What's going on? And they think I'm famous. And I ask them, so what do you think about what I say? And half of them don't even know. They just used to seeing you. It's the concept is called mere exposure effect. And it basically happens in like, you know, tribal ancestral times when you have people you would see every day, you were just more likely to trust them. If I saw Colonel Robinson, who was my colonel when I left the 19th Air Refueling Group. If I saw him today, if he walked in here right now, I would probably stand at attention. And if he asked me to do something, I'd probably still do it. I still trust that motherfucker. Why? Because mere exposure. I used to see Colonel Robinson every day. You see what I'm saying? So that's one of the things that happens. So getting your face out there on a regular basis, what are the easiest ways to do that? Because you're already making content, make 30 to 90 second clips out of that content and then just post it like crazy.
Okay, sounds good. And then if you don't mind, I actually have another question I wanted to ask you about something you mentioned earlier and your book recommendation, Very Important People. Yeah. So you previously said that we don't want to look like promoters, but you do want to be a promoter.
No, you don't want to be a promoter. All I said is it's okay to be a promoter. You don't want to be a promoter, but it's okay to be a promoter.
Got it. When I was reading that book, I was trying to understand what you were trying to convey to people. And one of the things that I saw is that a lot of the people the book focuses on are promoters, but they never like cross this threshold between being a promoter and their aspirations of like being business owners and legitimate business people. But the people on the other side never see them as that. They only ever saw them as like girl wranglers effectively. So like, is that a trap that you fall into potentially?
Yes.
Or?
So here's the thing. Who are some people that didn't fall in that trap? There's one person in particular who didn't fall into that trap. She talks about him often.
The only person I remember that didn't fall into that trap was one of the promoters who specifically, like you talk about a lot, was genuinely friends with the people that they brought to events.
There's one other promoter
towards. I can't.
There's one other promoter who now runs $500 million. He's a CEO of a $500 million nightlife group.
Is his name Michael Sartain by any chance?
His name is Jason Strauss. Strauss. Jason Strauss. He's the guy who opened Marquee. They talk about it in the book. Right now, there are 3 case studies that have been done by Harvard Business School on Jason Strauss. The thing is, what happened was, and I've seen this happen often, is that you get into these situations. I see this happen all the time when guys join MOA. They start throwing parties and they're surrounded by multimillionaires and they introduce them to each other and they start thinking that like, oh, I introduced these 2 millionaires. They're going to do a deal and I'm going to get 3% and then I'm going to be a millionaire. And it just never works that way. If all you are is the guy who just brings girls and drinks and parties or whatever, that's all they're ever going to see you. And they're going to use you exactly like they use the girls. It won't be any different. Okay. The trick is for me is to break rapport. So so for me, it's like, I just use the events as a way to get you down the funnel. So it's the top of my funnel. When I'm in the funnel, I'm going to be like, just imagine if I was having a conversation with somebody who's a small business owner and I was like, this is what I found. We were running, VSLs on our page, our funnel, and we stopped running VSLs and our engagement rate went up. Wouldn't that be interesting? Wouldn't that be something better to talk about? Even though there's beautiful women all around. If you guys come to my events, we talk about business shit when we're there. I'm always offering value. One of my favorite sayings, Justin Waller said this, is he goes, the number one way to become wealthy is to become valuable to other men. So that's what I do. I'm always offering value. Does that make sense? So in your situation, you're going to throw these events. One other thing, please, if you want to crush it in this industry, please be the one guy in crypto who has more girls than guys show up to your party. Please, please.
Believe me, I know that's a challenge.
Yeah, no, but like what I would do though, is I would have the party, I would market it one way to the girls and I would go 3 weeks out and send invites to like maybe 1,000 girls. And then I would market to guys a different way, just all business. Like they'd have their own separate kind of flyer and only invite like 50 guys and then get a really good ratio. Then get a show, hey, you guys want to learn about crypto? Cool. But if you learn about crypto, like this is one thing Dan Fleischman does so well. Dan Fleischman has these incredible business events, Aspire, Elevator Nights, etc. But when Dan Fleischman's events, his parties, it's like 7 girls for every guy. Dan understands how ratio works. Hey guys, do you guys remember who here went to CES 10 years ago? Who here's was at CES like 10 years ago? CES 7 years ago? Anybody? Eddie, Michael, any of you guys were at CES? Okay. Guys, for those of you who were at CES like 7 or 10 years ago, what do you remember about the people, what are they called? The people, the hosting people, the people that were in the, what are they called? Not the nerds, the display people. What are they called? The presenters. What do you remember? Oh, the booth. There we go. The booth presenters. What do you remember about them? Anybody? The vendors. Anybody remember? Who did they fill that place up with?
Booth
what
bunnies.
Particular demographic? Huh?
Booth bunnies.
Insanely hot girls. Do you know what they stopped doing the last couple years? They stopped having those girls come. Anybody hear about what happened this year? Record low turnout for CES? Guys, listen to me. Listen to me. I don't care what anybody says. I will stand by this. Print this on my tombstone. The world is more fun when there's more women around. Events are more fun when there's more women around. Parties are more fun when there's more women around. Nightclubs are more fun when there's more women around. Dinner is more fun when there's more women around. Little get-togethers back at your house are more fun when there's more women around. Okay? Yeah.
Fair enough. Thanks for taking my question, Michael.
Makes sense?
Jordan to send me some pictures.
Please, definitely, I will. And man, make sure you hit us up again, man, because I'm really interested. I'd love to help you. When it comes to like you throwing your event, I can give you like a couple of quick tips. Okay.
For sure. I'm not even interested in like throwing my own events. I would just love to tag on to other people and help out however I can.
Okay. So real quick, if you want to help other people, that is the better way to do it. There's a couple of things that you can do for free that will always get you invited to stuff. Number one, you invite a ton of girls. And number two, you produce better quality social media than other people. Meaning you make better clips and then you post those clips and tag everyone who's relevant and they repost them. Those two things all of you can do for free. And if you do that on a regular basis, you will be invited to everything.
Fair enough.
When
you say better social media clips, do you mean like I do a lot of technical work? Do I need to like start making more like red meat stuff for people to catch eyeballs? Is that what you're talking about?
You could, but also just like not having a shaky camera, like setting it to maybe 24 frames a second at 4K, getting really proper lighting, have the girl like facing the camera when she's talking instead of what most people do, which is dark rooms full of people and you see the back of elbows and the back of people's heads with no compliance. Those are terrible videos.
Fair enough. We'll tell you what, can you grade me on my current setup? Because this is what I stream with.
No, your streaming thing is fine. What I'm talking about is at a party. Have you seen the Snapchat opens that I do?
I'm unfamiliar with those.
Let me see if I can find one for you. My albums.
So I do these. You've talked about like having people do Instagram stories where you have a bunch of girls and you just like send it to like somebody with status that you're trying to like get attention to. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. Yeah. Stuff like that. Let me see if I can find it. Do I have any pictures, videos? So basically what I'll do is like at your events, I would have a ton of videos, basically like, yeah, there's nobody here at the party. There's nobody. Do you guys see anybody? There's nobody here. I can't even, is anybody like, I can't even find any, hold on, wait, is there anybody? There's a few, no. What should we do? Should we just go to Kitchen 24 and eat? Is that what we're gonna do? Fine. Damn it.
I'm hungry. I'm fucking hungry. Let's go.
So really good lighting, high up, facing down, girls behind, complying. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, that's a hell of a pitch right there you got for a video. I guess one of the things that I always try to make sure I do, especially when we have guests on or going on other people's stuff, is I want to respect their space. And like, this might be one of your things about giving yourself permission, but like, how kosher is it to record content for yourself at other people's events and whatnot?
It's 100% kosher. Nobody has any problem with it ever. And if you make their event look cool, nobody cares.
Fair enough. All right.
I've never had an issue with that whatsoever. But again, like this is the thing, like a couple things I want to go over real quick, Zenith. When you do these videos, you should always start on the girl and the light should be like very bright on her. There's a thing you can use actually in Snapchat. Well, it'll turn your screen into a light.
Why do they always put us on stage? Kindly. Why do they always put us on?
Right before this, I'm like, everybody get behind me and we're going to make a video. Guys, try this. If you don't believe me, walk up to the hottest girl you've ever seen in your life and be like, hey, will you make a funny TikTok video with me? No girl will tell you no ever. They will never tell you no.
Why do they always put us on stage? Kindly. Why do they always put us on stage? Why can't they put us in GA one time? They gotta put us like right here. I don't understand. What are we doing here? Take your shirt off. Ridiculous.
Got it?
Got it.
Beautiful, man. Awesome. So your
Thank
party
you
is
very much.
fucking awesome. It's rocking behind you. The 3 hottest girls of the party are behind you, and be like, hey, man, I really didn't think our cooking club would turn out to be so fucking awesome. Understand?
Yeah.
Okay. Zenith, you work in like, remember we were talking about the sales trainer before? You work in an industry where people really don't get offended. Right.
I would half agree with you. People like me don't get offended, but unfortunately, a lot of the other people I work with might get offended.
Oh, they do. Okay. Well, I guess it's a shame, but I'm talking about like the Lambo index. You know what I'm saying? Like it was just, there are a lot of memes. It just seems like a little bit more of a rough and tumble industry, but yeah, I guess you're right. I guess some
that, but as far as the clearance work, yeah, I still try not to piss off Uncle Sam.
Got it. Beautiful. Love it. All right, man. Let's go to Khalid.
Thank you very
Khalid,
much.
what's your question? I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. Zenith. Khalid, what's your question?
Hey, how you doing, Michael?
Hey.
I just had a question regarding Instagram. Got some like couple different opinions about it, not smile or not smiling pictures. I got some good feedback from Casey. I'm not sure if you're aware of him or not.
Yeah, Casey's he works for MOA. Yeah.
Yeah, I got some good feedback from him on Instagram. I just wanted to know, am I good to send any invites after I join the program, being that I got good feedback from him already?
Yeah, if he says it's good, I would probably have some other guys in the program say, hey, this looks good to send out invites. But with the invites, again, like you want to show, again, remember in the beginning, you're throwing pebbles at an aircraft carrier. Like it just takes a while before you get any kind of traction. You should expect a show up rate between 2 and 5% the first time you do these events. And by the time you've done this for about, a year, maybe a year and a half, you should maybe 50%.
Maybe 50%. Okay.
Because what will happen is girls will tell other girls that your event's awesome.
Okay. So it's like that pre-selection thing that you guys always talk about, right?
That's exactly what it is.
Okay. And then my next question and my last question would be, I'm moving to Vegas soon. Is there any tips on what area or apartments are the best in Vegas?
Well, depending on what your budget is. If you have an unlimited budget, I would say Mandarin Orient or Waldorf Astoria. If you don't, I would probably say either Lotus, Elysium, or what's it called? Or maybe Meridian.
Meridian. Okay. And those are near the Strip, I'm guessing?
They're real close to the Strip, but they're apartment complexes. They're not like I live in a condo, like looking over the Strip.
Okay. Do you think that's better than a apartment complex or?
It's more expensive. I really like it because there's a gym in here and there's 6 pools, and there's 2 full gyms and 2 basketball courts. That's why I live here.
Okay, and it's more.
Look, I gotta be honest with you, Khalid. I won't leave Tower 1 of Panorama for 4 days at a time. Sometimes I'll just sit here and work.
In the building, right?
Including the girls. The girls, yeah, they'll just come over. It's like like a bunch of girls. Like my girlfriend will go out with a bunch of girls, and I'll come home and there's like 6 girls in my apartment, half naked, like getting ready, drinking tequila. Like I don't have to go anywhere.
Okay. All right.
You know that club, the club Marquee? Yeah. I can see it from my balcony. I can see in the Marquee from my balcony. Yeah. That's how close I am. Yep.
And so is it cheaper than Miami's rent or?
Yeah, it's definitely cheaper. Yeah. Everything's cheaper here than Miami. Yeah.
Okay. All right. That was my last question. I appreciate it, Michael.
Yeah, of course, man. Will Haywood, what's your question?
Hey, can you hear me all right?
Sure can.
All right, so I'm going through trying to fix my Instagram right now, just on step 1, and my photography skills are lacking. Do you think it would be advisable to just hire a photographer to get that done faster, or do you think I should work on my skills?
I would do both. I would definitely work on your skills. Now, here's the thing with the photography. You can watch a couple of videos and just learn about the light triangle, which is the shutter speed, the ISO, and the f-stop. Okay, learn how those things work, and then learn how exposure works. When it comes to that. But the other thing you can do is find good photos that you like and then just recreate them. Practice recreating them. And then you're going to learn about things like focal length and how focus works. And then, for instance, I have a 7200 lens that whenever I shoot, if I were to ever shoot girls, I would only shoot them with a 7200 lens because there's this thing called compression that happens when you have a very long lens. Anyway, all the stuff that I'm talking about. If you ever want to see compression on an iPhone, just use portrait mode. The little bokeh effect that comes from compression. If you guys ever want to learn how to do that kind of stuff, definitely, there's a bunch of ways that you can learn. Corey, with Corey's close friends list, I know he goes way more into depth when it comes to like Lightroom and when it comes to Photoshop, as far as like editing the photos afterwards. And I know that Casey Herzog, who works for us at MOA, he's now doing that for us. He's creating modules for us specifically on that type of editing. I will teach you FaceApp and Facetune. I like to edit my stuff in like 30 seconds. I'm not really big because my whole thing is I want a ton of content. I don't want to wait on a lot of content. I want my content to come out quick. Okay. So And then I also have like a rule, like I still edit all my own photos and then send them to Shar and then she posts them. But yeah, what I would learn is the great thing about photography is that the evidence is right there in front of your face and you just recreate what you saw. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And would you advise like get a camera, or do you think my Android phone is good?
I don't know which Android and I don't know how good the pictures are. I do know that you can right now with an iPhone 15, you can pretty much do 90% of what you can do with with an SLR right now.
Okay, cool.
And that has to do with the how good the cameras are getting and how degraded the photos are when you post them on Instagram.
Gotcha.
Yep. I love it, man. Good question.
You think one small thing to that?
Go ahead, Will. Go ahead.
I'm also like a pretty skilled musician. What are your thoughts on like a music exclusive Instagram for content?
Oh, I would mix in music with lifestyle. Look up Zach Evans. He's one of our one of my oldest clients. He actually plays the piano next to someone. Another guy, he's not one of my clients, but he's a good friend of mine, and he does this stuff a lot, is I Am Thompson. You know, I'm Thompson. He plays the violin while like porn stars are like fucking each other right next to him. Have you ever seen that?
Not seeing that, no.
Yeah, look up I Am Thompson. He's another one who does it, but it's his lifestyle in conjunction with it's really I Am Thompson has the craziest stories, dude. He used to live with, I think he told me he used to live with Hermosi. Like it was crazy. Like some of the stories this guy told me. It's fucking crazy shit. All right, did that answer your question?
Yeah. And what was that?
Music is sexy, so you can put that along. Your lifestyle along with the music is acceptable.
Nice. And what was Zach Evans' Instagram handle?
Can somebody find it up? Is it Zach? Did I say it right? Hold on.
Zach Evans Music.
Okay, is it Zach Evans Music? Yeah. Zach was one of the first guys in my program.
All right, awesome. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Marcus McGraw, what's your question? Marcus, you got to unmute yourself, brother. Marcus, go ahead and unmute yourself. Try it again.
Okay, there we go. Can you hear me?
Sure can.
Okay, cool. All right. So my question is, why do you sometimes bring on guests that discredit you and expose what your agenda may really be?
Finally, you guys saw I posted this on Twitter. I was like hoping to come and have some haters come on. Yeah, I know the guys are like, thank you. So here's the situation. I don't care who comes on. Like it makes it no difference to me. I am fully and totally what's called a dataist. I am only for more expression. Meaning, if you ever read Homo Deus, which is the second book by Yuval Noah Harari, he goes over into the concept of like the reason why the Soviet Union failed and why America won wasn't specifically because of capitalism or Christianity or whatever. It was because the flow of information in the United States was faster than the flow of information in the Soviet Union. So I'm always for more. This is the reason why I was willing to debate Nick Fuentes, is the reason why I was willing to debate Destiny, and why Destiny and I are friends now, because he realized that I do a ton of research. So yeah, I love when people come on, but no one's ever exposed me for anything.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Well, I
sure
can
you
understand that.
Marcus,
I do appreciate you willing to be cordial about this, because I wasn't coming on to personally attack anyone. I'm just expressing my discontent with some people like, oh, I don't know, Rollo Tomasi. Like, don't get me started on that dude. He's one of the biggest jokes I've seen in my life. And I don't think bringing on the king of the incels and nerds builds your credibility and makes people want to watch your channel. I actually think it makes you look guilty by association. This guy's all red pill theory, and he doesn't give you concepts that can make someone successful in practice. He doesn't develop your social skills because he simply doesn't have any. In addition, man. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, so I'm saying, like, the girls love him. Like, I disagree with you about the social skills, but the other thing is what you're doing though is like you're taking a square peg and trying to put it in a round hole. Rollo's play. It's like, for me, whenever the PUA guys try to debate me, I'm like, I'm not a pickup artist. So you're trying to drag me into your pickup thing. Rollo's not a dating coach. So Rollo, what he's doing is he's making these like socioeconomic observations of how the world works. Now, it's his interpretation. And you've heard me and Rollo don't agree on everything, but he does come from a good place. What I mean is he reads more than anybody I've ever met. He reads a ton, and his interpretations do come from his own lens of existence. But my point is, if Rollo were a dating coach saying, do this, put your hand on her leg to go to try to fuck her, I would 100% be in agreement with you, but he doesn't. Okay. Rollo is about description and not prescription. I'm a little bit more prescription, but I try to do it in a healthy way as possible. And I'm also not exactly red pill. Like, there's a few things in red pill I disagree with. But also, Rollo's one of my best friends. We don't have to agree on everything. And it's funny because I'm friends with Destiny and Rolo. I'm obviously way closer to Rolo, but they fucking hate each other. But the reality is,
That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, I'm way more interested in the free flow of ideas, even when there's things that I disagree with. The thing with Rolo is like when you have the complaints that you have to be more specific. Does that make sense? You have to be more specific. Like I think when Rolo said there is no such thing as a soulmate, I think that's important for men to understand, because what happens is guys start believing that there's somebody out there for them if they just sit around and wait. I have clients that come to me that are 30-year-old virgins, and they're just like, I was waiting because the church told me that my soulmate was going to show up. They've been essentially told something that wasn't true. You know, when Rolo says, I don't really believe in long distance relationships, he's not wrong about that. There's a lot of things that, you know, the first time I'd ever seen it down on paper was from Rolo.
Okay, that's fair enough. I suppose my main gripe with all of this is that I can see the interest that these people are acting in, and it's their own best interest, not these men's interest. It looks like they have interest in profiting off men by telling them only half the story and using that to convince them to participate in a system that does nothing but treat women as social status objects and prizes to be won, not by actually helping men develop skills. Like if you want to help men, I think that you should tell them to start treating women as people, because women want to choose to like elite guys. They don't want to be forced to like elite men. They want their power to be earned, not questioned.
Yeah, Marcus, the thing that I guess maybe you don't watch a lot of my content. I'm the first person to say you treat women like people. I'm the first one who says this. I'm the one who says treat them all the same, make them talk about themselves, and you don't treat men or women any differently when you have a conversation with them. My best friend, one of my best friends, probably my best friend, is Kindly Myers. She's a female. She's a huge model, and I say, "What up, motherfucker?" Whenever I see her, I treat her like a dude, and she appreciates that because she was a sergeant in the U.S. Army. And so I completely agree with you. I just think the difference is, I think you probably think, because what happens a lot of times is like Pearl Davis will say a thing and then Rolo Tomasi will catch the stray.
Yeah.
Rolo does not say, okay, Rolo does not say to not like to degrade women. You should see the girls love Rolo. There's several girls who come on the show just because they want to meet Rolo. There are girls afterwards. My girlfriend adores Rolo. This idea that he's like just some weirdo. No, he's just been married for almost 30 years. And that's the reason why, you know, for me, when I see Rolo almost married for 30 years, that's a feature, not a bug. A lot of people, that's why Rolo and I work well together. If you want to have like some outrageous number of women in your life and at the same time become a better leader, to get in better shape, to work on your business, to become a better communicator, and to work in philanthropy, take my course. If you want to learn like what Rolo did, which is figure out a way to generate genuine desire in his relationship so that he can have an incredible relationship with his wife and his daughter, who, by the way, just got married to a man he's very, very happy with. You know, congratulations to him for that. Like, to me, that's the win. To me, that's the win. That's the success. We're all sitting there talking about, we want to find a good woman that doesn't have a red flags, that we can have children with, and then those children can make responsible decisions based on the example we set for them. I think Rolo succeeded in that. You know, but I do understand, like, some people, what happens is his audience will say horrific things, horrible misogynistic shit. And then Rolo will catch strays for it. Rolo is actually way more of a libertarian. You notice how there's this section of the red pill that's sort of like meshed in with Christianity? Rolo's not part of that, even though Rolo's a Christian. And so am I. We don't mesh our Christian beliefs along with go forth and multiply. Therefore, don't fuck multiple women. Therefore, I judge you. Like what we like to practice. This is Rolo and I like to practice this. It's called non-judgment, but discernment. So a girl can fuck 500 dudes. I'm not going to judge her. I've never called a girl a whore on the show. You've never heard me say that once. No. I can sit there and I can not be non-judgmental towards them, but I also know I don't want to marry them. So I'm not judgmental, but I'm also discerning. And in order for me to do that, I have to be less judgmental. And that's sort of the tack that I've taken. And a lot of people who are in this space who want to be a little bit less judgmental, but still don't want to get fucked over, you know, once they get divorced and have the woman cheat on them and then take half their money. People who are still discerning, they tend to flock towards what we do. I'm a bit more of a political moderate than a lot of people in this space.
Okay, fair enough. Again, you know, I listen to your stuff sometimes. I think that you're relatively well-spoken, and I think that your concepts are a bit refreshing compared to some of the ones I see out there. I just didn't like some of the guys, like, for example, Jay Waller. I wouldn't have touched that guy because I think that he is like the biggest fake alpha crybaby I've seen.
Why do you think Jay Waller's fake? I'm just curious. Like, he is the greatest one of the greatest dudes I've ever met. I don't know. He's fucking Captain America. Like, he takes over every room we go into, bro. He's just the most generous dude I've ever met.
Well, because some of his energy is fake, man. I'll never forget when he got exposed on the Whatever podcast by that one girl. I kind
No,
of
what
lost
happened?
respect for him after that.
What happened with the one girl is that. So here's the thing with Justin. Like Justin lives an experience, but the girl was trying to ask for like a technical answer, and Justin
She
just
was.
didn't have one. Right. But the thing is, I'm a professional debater. Before I got into this space, I used to do moot court, and I was a district debate champion. So for me, like when I went up against Destiny, I went through Destiny's last 15 podcasts, and I wrote down every one of his arguments, and then I tried to counter all of his arguments. That's what I did. But like Justin Waller isn't like that. Justin Waller is he runs a construction company in Louisiana. Like he just his vibe is very different. Does that make sense? I understand. Like your observations are valid. I just don't think anything about Justin's fake at all.
Okay, fair enough. Again, I don't know these people personally, and I'm only seeing certain clips from their online presence, so I can understand why that would be the case. I appreciate you clarifying all this. The only note I would end on is I don't understand bringing Homath on the show because I didn't like that guy. Yeah.
Really? Well, hold on. Oh, wait. You didn't like Homath? Put a
No.
one in the chat if you love Homath. Homath is fucking hilarious. Are you kidding? Bro, that was the one because seriously, I can understand if you like Rolo because he'd be like a little extreme. Homath is so much further in the middle. Really? I just talked to Homath this morning. That's crazy. Okay, that's fine.
But yeah, that was just the note I wanted to end on. I appreciate it, man. Good talk.
All right, Marcus. Anytime you want, come back on. All right, awesome. Hey, one other thing I want to point out, there's something that we do different in this course. If you guys are in the free group or if you're in the paid group or whatever, you notice I always ask you guys to talk to each other. Okay. The reason why, if you notice that, if you guys ever join other masterminds, if you're ever in a mastermind, or by the way, if you ever have a business partner, or by the way, if you ever have a romantic partner who tells you don't talk to these people, you are being controlled, and be very careful. The reason why they don't want you to talk to these people is because they have bad reviews. The reason why I love when all the MOA guys share their stories is because the success rate is like over 98%. That's the reason why I love the fact that you guys talk to each other. And you'll notice no one else in the world, there's 93 guys on the Zoom right now, and there's 200 guys watching us on YouTube. There's nobody else in the world who's going to do a live stream like this and call random people on to just question them. But I can, because I know the community that we built is like so strong. And so many of you guys have had such great success stories. So there's nothing I want to hide from you. You also notice, you just pay attention. If you guys ever join a mastermind or some other group and they're like, don't talk to these people, just be very wary. There's nobody I don't want you to talk to. And if one of you guys wanted to take the course from that idiot in fucking Brazil, go do it. I'm not going to criticize you. You guys can go take whatever course you want. I will never ostracize you. I'm going to ask you a bunch of questions because what I've seen recently is he's starting to copy a lot of stuff that I'm doing. Do whatever you want. But my point is, when it comes to this situation is like, we're never going to be judgmental. We want a free flow of ideas and then let the best ideas fall where they may. Let's go to Gracio? Graco. Bro, you're okay. Yes. So Graco. So here's the problem. So obviously I know you. Your face on Zoom is a female, is a blonde female. That's what's so cute and confusing. That's why I've had this issue before. Yeah.
All right. No, that's my business partner. But are you being able to see me now? I am muting myself and my camera's now. Great. So before I ask my question, I just would like to add to that question that the guy asked about how to fix his Instagram and what tools to use. Corey Chalif has a starter's course for $27 that if you do it, you can most definitely fix your Instagram ASAP.
Yeah.
So I would suggest everybody who is looking for fixing your Instagram to check this program.
Yeah.
Okay.
So for sure with Corey, the other thing I'm going to tell you about with Corey is that like I would recommend all of you guys try to find a Corey in your life. Now, no one's going to be as good as Corey. Corey Chaloff is one of one. But I will tell you, having a dude who just loves to fucking film all the time, who's just like addicted to videography and cinematography, having a friend like that, and then just be like, bro, you show up, you film everything, and I'll bring 100 girls. That kind of partnership right there that's the tag team world championship. That's Hulk Hogan and Ultimate Warrior. Does that make sense? That's the type of synergy that you want. So I would highly recommend find a Corey in your life, all of you.
Yeah. So he has his starters course, and also he has a full-blown course called Personal Brand Creator Pro that I suggest everyone to check it out as well. So I put the link on the chat here so people can see.
Yep. Beautiful. So anything else you want to talk about?
Yeah, of course. My question is, how can you value arbitrage a way to get to comp dinners in very high status restaurants if you don't know anyone and you need to start the relationships from scratch?
Okay, so the thing about the people who run restaurants is they're very insecure when it comes to their restaurant. We're having a lot of feedback from whatever you're doing there. There's a lot of noise that's going on. Well, I'll let you come back on here in just a second, Gracia. Graco. So the thing is, when it comes to girls, when you go up and talk to girls immediately, especially if they're attractive, 85% of the time they're thinking 85% of men are creepy and weird. And so there's this little bit of a shield that comes. If you don't know what I'm talking about, just watch a guy go up to a hot girl in a gym and you'll just see like this little bit of, unless she's really attracted to him, so there's a little bit of unease. Go up and talk to strangers on the street. It's like there's this little barrier you have to get over. That doesn't exist when men talk to other men. And it never exists when men talk to other men about business. And if you're talking to a guy about helping their business, then they're definitely going to be open to whatever suggestion that you have. So, hey, I want to bring 20 girls to a comp dinner at your place. And they can see how that helps their business. But here's the difference, okay? With women, a lot of times, the way to convince them to do things, a lot of times, not all the time, not all women, but is with feelings. You create a feeling, you create an emotion, and that will drive an action. With men tend to need more evidence. So the way I like to convince men, hey, I'd love for you to, do this thing with you. These are previous events that we've done, is I show them irrefutable visual evidence, Graco. That's what I would do. So I would show them evidence that you are capable of this thing that you want to do. I'd have it on your phone immediately ready to pop out like a quick draw. And then when you can show them, then from there, you got their attention, you exchange information, and then you just have a couple of just fucking killer ass photos you send them of like, hey, this is what we're capable of. Would you like me to come and do a comp? If you do that, you should be more than fine. Because you're already putting yourself in the 1%, because most people come and they just talk. Club promoters who say, I'll bring 100 girls and they bring 15, like talk. Most people are in that category. And if you can just show instead of telling people, demonstrate instead of explicate, you'll do incredible with those people. Does that make sense? Oh, sorry, Graco, my bad. Unmute yourself.
All right, yeah. So I have IV for photo shoots, but I have zero IV for comp dinners. So do you think that the IV for the photo shoots is enough to convince maybe the restaurant owner to allow me to have a comp dinner there?
The answer is most likely yes. Yeah, I think that would work. But what you might do is ask other guys in MOA, have you guys ever done a comp dinner, and can I borrow some of your photos? I don't, right. Guys, if you're throwing your own events and having some success, I don't mind at all if you swap photos with each other. I don't really care. What I can't have you do though is swap photos with the Maxim party and then tell people you're hosting the Maxim party when you're not. That's the only thing where I think it's not good.
All right, great. That's all. Thank you.
Danny, what's your question?
What's going on, baby? Can you hear me?
Yep.
So I got a couple deep kind of philosophical questions and kind of just a regular question. If you can, try to dive deeper into like how important gratitude is for everybody here, and how to not correlate that with being like content and complacency.
Yeah.
Try not to associate like I'm grateful for what I got. I love what I have. I'm really grateful for what I got. But I don't want to be like, well, I'm grateful for what I got, therefore I don't need anything else.
Yes.
I don't want to use gratitude as an excuse to not level up.
So if you guys look on my personal book list, the #1 book on there is The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. I had a discussion with Ty Lopez about this, and he didn't like the book specifically because of what you said, Danny. And I just don't think there's a part that he grasped. So what I do is I take right action, and I choose success because I come from a place of abundance. In order for me to come from a place of abundance, I have to live in a world of gratitude. Does that make sense? So right. I'm grateful. I'm grateful for what I have, which allows me to live in the present moment. I have gratitude, which then allows me to take right action. Again, man, just consider this. Consider a guy who just got out of jail. He's been in jail for like 20 years, and he gets out the first day, and his whole family is coming there and like grabbing onto him. That guy's full of gratitude, and he's in the present moment, but it's because of outside factors. What if you could feel like that every day? If you could feel like that every day, everyone would listen to you. Everyone would follow you. Everyone would want to be led by you. Women would want to date you. If you just had that attitude, that incredible elation that you had the moment of your freedom, right? The first day, bro, I get back from the Middle East, I'm just like trying to find a Whataburger so I can eat like a triple. I haven't had a Whataburger or a Dr. Pepper in 6 months, bro. I'm like shoving that shit down. I'm so fucking happy. I'm going out with my friends. I'm staying out all night. I'm just like so happy. I'm elated. Why? Because I'm full of gratitude. Just bring that with you all the time, every day. You're just a better person to be around. Okay. That's the one thing. The second thing is For me to want to continue to succeed, I can still do so, but understand that these things are the reason why I'm doing so. So here's how I would reframe it. For me, the apex for human existence is for men to accomplish goals with one another. So for me, leading this team with MOA, yes, money comes along with it, but for me, leading this team and then seeing this incredible like ground level change in so many people, that's the reward I'm looking for, and I never get tired of it. And here's the other thing. It's not just that I'm ambitious to grow the company. I'm grateful of the results that I've already gotten so far, which continues to fuel me. The problem is the other way is this. I want more money, more success, take over, like defeat my opponents, defeat my competition, lie about my competition, like throw a monkey wrench, try to destroy their business, etc. This is a place where you come with no gratitude. The problem is when you get to the top, it's so empty. It's so empty. So if you can start from a place of gratitude and then get to succeed in your goals, but the reason why you're going to succeed in goals, that this is sound kind of weird, it's because you're stoic, right? So consider this, right? Again, Jocko Willink, one of my favorite things, good, the word good. He says, hey man, you just won $5 million. Jocko goes, good. He goes, hey man, your wife just left you. Good. Hey man, the business is success. We've tripled the size of the business this year. Good. Hey man, just want to let you know your uncle has cancer. Good. That's called stoicism. It's exactly the same. If you have gratitude and present moment awareness, then you can have stoicism. From stoicism, you can take the right action. Just like, if you ever seen the quarterback who gets pressure in his face and he throws the ball poorly and he'll throw like an interception, like Baker Mayfield, you saw him like when he was playing against the Detroit last week. When you put pressure in his face, the ball comes out wrong. But if you give him a clean pocket, he throws perfect passes. Stoicism creates that clean pocket for you. Gratitude creates that clean pocket so that you can take right action. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Instead
of filling your mind full of revenge and greed and lust, you fill your mind with stoicism, and then you can take right action.
Okay. Well, that kind of falls into my second question. It would be, considering how easy it is to guarantee your failure, just sit on the couch and watch, YouTube all day, right? And not do anything. How can we make success, how can we guarantee success?
Well, you can never guarantee it, dude, because any of us could die tomorrow. Guys, you understand, like success is, for me, success is the fact that I'm happy and the people I care about are safe. Success to me is that my little uncle, my nephew Ike can go to any college he wants. That's success to me. But maybe later on I have a party and someone who pushes me off my balcony. There's no guarantee of anything. I could die later. And by the way, another reason why I'm so grateful, bro, is because I am fully aware of my own death, my impending death. You are going to die. Memento mori, right? When you do that, and you also come to the realization through stoicism, this too shall pass. When you do that, you're like, in this moment, I will live this moment to the fullest. I will accomplish goals. And then when I die, do I want to have regrets? Did I build a business, or did I live a life where I try to help as many people as possible? If you did, you're going to feel good on your deathbed. Or for some people, your motivation may be different. Did I have children who also had children and they turned out to be good people because I provided for them? That's another great way. That's another thing I'd love to see on my deathbed, right? So those are the things that you do, but you do so not because you're worried about them in the future, but because you could die tomorrow.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
And so you have gratitude for that. And go ahead.
But yeah, I would say this gratitude kind of falls in line with my second question. I figured that's kind of one of the ways you could, in essence, guarantee success. So you got to be consistently grateful for the spot that you're in currently.
Yeah, I just would rather work with people who are grateful and ambitious. So this is where Ty didn't quite grasp it. You can be grateful and live in the present moment and still be ambitious. The difference is your total drive cannot come from like the necessity for money. It's funny because Ty, now that he's rich, has become one of the more enlightened people I know.
Yeah.
Because he's not driven by the same things anymore. He really is driven by just like making people happy.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So the very last question would be, would you recommend like cybersecurity for like a future, like a foundational skill to achieve?
I'm not gonna tell you my expertise on that or try to tell you that I know where that industry is going. But what it does sound to me like it's a very easy problem. It's very easy for me to listen to you explain that and understand the problem you're solving. And I understand your competition. And I also understand there's a demand for it. So because of that, my initial answer would be yes. Cybersecurity sounds like a great idea.
Okay.
Beautiful. And by the way, speaking of networking, somebody just messaged you right now. If you look at about joining, about getting information on cybersecurity, is Miguel in here? Hold on. Miguel, what's going on, man? Let's see if Miguel can pop up here. Okay, we're gonna see if Miguel, if you're hearing this, just jump on. I gave you the ability to unmute yourself. We're going to keep going to questions. Miguel, raise your hand, and then I'll call on you, and I'll have you come speak when you come back on here, okay? Beautiful. Let's do this. Let's go to Jay. Jay, what's your question?
Hey, Michael, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Awesome. So, Michael, over the past year, I've been keeping up with this whole debate behind, like, social circle versus cold approach. And I just wanted to kind of ask you, do you kind of feel like when this debate's happening that sometimes the social circle crowd picks like the lowest common denominator or like the least desirables among the cold approach crowd and says like, okay, that's all cold approachers? Because I kind of feel that way. And again, I like to like delve my, I guess I like to look at both sides of the equation because I do feel like in this day and age, if you don't have a good Instagram, you're kind of screwed. Like I've just learned that like just over the years, like the value a good Instagram offers. But anyways, I'm just kind of wanting your opinion on this. Do you kind of feel like that's the case where people are always picking the least desirables of the cold approach crowd and saying like, that's everybody doing cold approach?
Yeah. So by the way, it works both ways. So like there's people out there saying that I don't like cold approach. I don't like intent-based pickup. I don't have any problem with cold approach. We have 8 boot camps a year called Vegas Immersion where we teach cold approach stuff. I don't think cold approach is efficient as social circle, but I don't have any problem with going up and talking to strangers. You need to do that in order to build a social circle. The way we describe it in MOA is cold approach leading to a social circle. Cold approach, like you are cold approaching people, which then collect them and put them into your social. You're collecting people, for lack of a better term. Okay, so that's the issue. When it comes to the criticism, I know you can say in general, there's not a lot of people social circles saying like criticizing pickup. There's a lot of people criticizing pickup, but not quite from what I'm doing. What I will tell you is it's the intent-based pickup, and it's how so many of their beliefs have been disproven, and then they still run headlong into these brick walls. Like for instance, the concept of like being overtly like keno escalation in a nightclub, like you're putting pressure on her and you're putting pressure like on yourself. Like you could get rejected, and there's nothing wrong with getting rejected. But the point is, what's happened is when these guys grab girls, what they're doing is they're selecting for women that allow that type of grabbing. And in doing so, they've narrowed their pool to a very small socio-sexual group of women. And then they end up fucking those girls. But they're fucking girls with like 500-600 body count, and they think they have game. And that's not what's going on. They're just figuring out girls that were already DTF instead of manufacturing attraction. And they think they're manufacturing attraction through dominance and like becoming overtly sexual. No, I'm here to debate this, and I'll debate this with anyone. Using overt sexuality in order to try to create attraction only works with women who were already attracted to you. Let me say this one more time. Using a massive amount of intent and using a massive amount of like keno escalation, groping, and making things overtly sexual works if the woman is already attracted to you. But when girls are already attracted to you and you do that stuff, the clothes just come so quick and you start thinking, oh, I'm good. I'm really good with women. No, you're not, because you can't get the trick is game is not getting women who are attracted to you to sleep with you. Game is getting women who aren't attracted to you to sleep with you. In order to do that, you have to this is like a bunt in baseball. That's why I do this is like a bunt. It's generating attraction, like a bunt, a sack bunt, sacrifice bunt, like that. You're generating runs. That's what's going on. Okay. Does that make sense? That's what the trick is. How do you do that? You do that through compliance, and you do that through showing other masculine traits that are attractive without showing intent. Here's the last criticism I have. When I show intent to a woman who's done nothing to earn it, what is my intent worth? It's worth nothing because she did nothing to earn it. My intent is worthless, and my status is low because of it. If a woman has to earn my intent, then my status is higher because my intent is worth more. Does that make sense? When I go up to, if I'm a cold guy doing cold approach, then I'm showing a bunch of intent to women who didn't deserve it. What does that show my value is? It shows my value is low. That has always been my argument.
But like, just to kind of debate you on one point, if you don't mind, like, what would you say is kind of smart from a game perspective to like mostly focus on women that are like receptive to you, as opposed to wasting time on women that are just no women, as in like
no, Jay, the problem is because you don't work enough on yourself, you don't realize how many more women would be interested in you. I'm not saying you don't work on yourself, Jay. I'm saying in general, it's like the number of the pool of women that were interested in me when I was 22 compared to now is because I worked on myself.
Fair. And I just have one more question.
And also, one more thing. You also get pre-selection as a bonus. Pre-selection is now sprinkled in to actually boost up your attraction, your attractiveness.
Understood, Michael. I just have one more thing, because it was like mentioned at the start of the call. As of 2024, like in terms of like Instagram follower account, what's like the bare or the minimum or like the threshold guys should be aiming for in order to have like a good Instagram account?
Yeah, I wouldn't worry about numbers. They don't matter. Instagram has totally left the organic phase. If you guys want to gain a bunch of followers, then the best thing I can tell you to do is to do just viral content. So like I said, I love Man on the Street. I love reaction videos. I love panel shows. I love clips from YouTube, from podcasts. I love recap videos of different events you've done. And I love memes. Those are like the 6 things I would recommend you guys try. If you want to grow, that's the best thing. Showing pictures of yourself with no shirt on, standing in front of a Mustang, that is not the way to grow your Instagram. It is with gay men, but it isn't in general.
Cool.
People are not there to look at us, guys. They're just not. Like, again, like if you guys would just focus on this one idea. With women, men want to look at the woman. With women, women want to see what the man can do. Let me say it one more time. When it comes to Instagram, for men, we want to look at the woman. We don't care what she can do, where she can go, or what she has access to. For men, women look at us and see, what do we have access to? What can we accomplish? And what do we possess? Does that make sense? So that's why the photo should be, if you're with no shirt on, you're standing on a beach and we can see all of Waikiki Beach behind you. You're standing on top of a volcano. You're standing in front of the Eiffel Tower. You can go to a place and do a thing, but you're small in the photo, because the photo is about what you can do. Do you have access to scarce resources and higher status? It's not about what you look like.
Got it.
Got it.
Thank you, Michael. And and just thanks for answering my questions.
Of course, anytime, man. Anytime, man. John Owley. Oh, actually, Miguel, are you there? Still trying to get Miguel. Miguel just texted me. You have to mind me. No, I don't. Miguel, you can just unmute yourself. Hold on. Miguel, you're a co-host now.
Hey, I think you're looking for someone else.
Oh, Miguel. Sorry, Miguel Molina. Hey, man. Sorry about that. Well, wrong. Hey, hold on. Give me 1 second, guys. Hey, Miguel, I put you as Miguel. I didn't realize it was dollar cost crypto. My bad, bro.
No, man. That's the second time you've done that.
Yes. All right. Beautiful. There he is. Okay, guys. I wanted to have Miguel on here. We're going to pause the questions for just a little bit. The reason why I have Miguel on here is because Miguel is a successful business owner, and I actually wanted to talk to him. You know, he's got a course coming up, but I want to talk to him about like the way he runs his business. Miguel, you there?
Yep, right here, brother.
Hey, Miguel, how do you run? Do you have a sales funnel? Like, how does that work for you? How does that work for your business?
Yeah, I actually have Charlie with me right now too. I think he just joined the call.
Okay.
Well.
Let's see if we can get. Go ahead.
But yeah, usually we do a sort of a two-way sort of thing. We do a kind of a YouTube advertising through doing our own streams, doing interviews. That's more of the organic side, and the other side is that we do an email push out basically. We don't do any paid, but by doing those two kind of strategies, I mean, we pretty much have sold so far. We're already close to like 15,000 courses sold basically.
That's incredible.
In like 2 years.
That's incredible. Do you have a sales team, or is it like just direct to cart?
It's pretty well. We have a small sales team. It's like it's like a 2-person team in the background, and then me and Charlie ourselves and stuff. But yeah.
Okay, that's incredible. And then do you know what your software stack is for like how you put it together? Like do you run through what's it called?
We do like a lot
Shopify?
of mail. Yeah, like MailChimp and stuff like that. And like we do like email campaigns like that. But it's just mostly been just networking and being able to just teach the thing up. You know, before we even really advertise it or try to do anything, we just there's Charlie. Before we even tried to like advertise it really, we just did like a homegrown version of it. Like we just told the smallest circle of people we knew, hey, we're doing something. If you believe in us, jump in. And you know, we had almost like 90 people jump in on the first one.
Yeah.
And we kind of like worked out all the bugs and stuff like that. And then from there, we kind of brought it up to the next level. And after that, it just took off. You know, we had like 1,000 student plus courses after that.
Yeah. So one of the reasons why I wanted to have Charlie and Miguel on here is because they did something that I've recommended to you guys several times, which is called Move the Free Line. They have a show where they just keep providing value. And then at the end, they're like, if you want to join us, you can. But it's jab, 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 right hook, like what Gary Vaynerchuk talks about. Yep. You just consistently offer value you can for free. And they're like, wow, man, if the free stuff is this good, what must the course be like? So I know a lot of people out there that are into crypto investing, like I look at crypto as a speculative asset. And I also, but I'm very bullish on the blockchain, but I don't know enough. So if I wanted to learn more than having a course, which by the way, another thing I would like to recommend, I'd like to express to people is that if somebody thinks that buying courses is a scam, then ask yourself this question. Why does Ty Lopez spend $1 million on buying courses? Why does Cole Gordon, there's one mentor he has, he's paid $150,000 just to spend like a weekend with the dude. Why, if these courses are a scam, then why in the world are people who teach these courses buying fucking courses? Why does that make any sense? Yeah, college is a bigger scam, but that's the reason. Hold on. The reason why I recommend you guys take courses instead of going to college is exactly this. If you were to take a course, like in my course, Dollar Cost Cryptos course, immediately, if you don't get value in the first 15 minutes, you're out. Fuck this. I paid money directly for an ROI. When you go to college and you get a degree in liberal arts, there's no fucking ROI. They never get judged on shit. If you don't get hired at a job or placed anywhere, your professors don't get fired. There's no responsibility to them. But if with Charlie and Miguel, they got to put their name on the line. And it's a risky business because crypto goes up and crypto goes down.
Oh yeah, it's extremely speculative, like extremely speculative. And then this is one of the big things that we end up teaching in the beginning is really teaching people about risk. And one thing that we've learned over the years is to put the risk webinar at the front of the course, is because people intentionally try to miss it. Basically, we've now required people to take the risk webinar. We noticed that no matter where we put it in the course, people were like, yeah, screw that shit. All right, tell me where the saucy altcoins and where I can 100x my money.
Yeah. It's one of these things. I've said this before. Nobody knows anything, and that's one of the reasons. Like when I went on with you guys, you do understand this idea that there's a 100%. Oh, it's just an easy arbitrage opportunity. No, there's risk involved in anything. Right. And what you're doing here is you're taking like a disproportionately higher amount of risk because you're dealing with equities that are unlisted and have outrageous levels of volume. And depending on how big their market cap is, they could have like super high levels of volatility.
Yeah, and I think that's why you kind of need to be very clear with your value proposition, with what are you actually providing your customers. I guess if we're taking it from more like a business perspective, because your customers will assume, oh, okay, so you're just going to tell me, the 5 things to buy. I know that within 5 minutes, boom, 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 it's over, right? Because that's how most people in our space are selling, right? They're selling, hey, guaranteed money, hey, this kind of stuff. And usually that there's a lot of scams in that, right? There's a lot of people who just do like pump and dump groups and stuff like that. So when you're doing a legit business in an industry that's this new, I think just the more clear you are with your actual value proposition, how you're actually treating your customers and what you're actually trying to provide them, once that's clear, then you're never going to have any of those friction points or anything like that. So that's also, I think, one of the more important reasons for having risk at the beginning as well.
Hey, for those of you guys who have your hand up right now, want to ask me questions, remember that I'm going to lower all hands right now. And if you guys have questions specifically, if you have like an online coaching business, or you want to learn about an online coaching business, or about the funnels or anything that these guys are doing, I want you to ask your questions now. So I'm going to lower all hands right now. And then if you guys are interested, where are you guys at? Miguel?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. If you guys are interested, go ahead and raise your hand. Go ahead and right there at the bottom where it says reactions, go ahead, hit the raise their hand button. There we go. Constantly raise their hand. A couple more people.
We're happy to talk about the business side as well as the crypto side. Either's fine.
Yeah. What has been the biggest challenge for you guys?
I guess it depends on like our biggest challenge now versus the beginning, right? Because like our biggest challenge now is very, very different, I would say, from where we started. But at the beginning, it was just getting out there and getting people to understand the brand and then trust the brand.
Got it. Beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, let's do this. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Constantine. Let's go to the first question here. Constantine, go ahead and unmute yourself. What's your question?
Yeah, thanks, brother. So question is, if you are to run a funnel as it relates to other companies, do you do anything different that's not typically taught in the space? Because a lot of the people are teaching really the same thing. So I know it's a more general question, but do you do anything out of the ordinary or different or unique that hasn't been done before that you think is especially valuable to share?
I would say, and I want to hear Miguel's take, obviously, but the biggest thing, I guess, is for our specific industry, probably is the biggest value add. I don't know if that affects how people work in other industries, but you might be able to take something away from this. But in terms of crypto, when most money comes into it and when most people start businesses or when most people invest in businesses with crypto, it's usually at the top of a bull market when, everything's hunky dory and, everybody's putting money into it versus when you want to start is actually should be the opposite point, right? So we basically started at the low point in the market when nobody's interested, giving you time to build a runway. And that has actually helped, like that cycle has helped us to solidify in the space. So I would assume if you were to do that in a different industry, because you keep your costs low as profits go up, and so you actually understand what your real costs are, versus if you start when there's a new industry on a boom already, you might overspend from the beginning, and then by the time you've expanded out so far with employees and stuff, then you have to start cutting people, and you don't have enough money, and you go bankrupt or something, right? So I guess with any industry that is high growth, AI is another example of something like that. Then I would just recommend to do it when it's unpopular, so that way you have something to build upon once you do get that momentum and you actually understand that part of the business. But in terms of marketing, I would say not really.
Okay, so in the event, just one follow-up to that. So in the event where there are some industries that are kind of taking off, like crypto or sales as an example, and you have to differentiate because you don't really have a choice to wait until there's a lull or whatever, because that may be years. What are some of what's the philosophy that you have around differentiation? So maybe not specifically how you differentiate, but what is your thought process around that specifically?
Yeah, me and Miguel, we like to add value in different ways. And we're just like, okay, so what is, because like the industry is brand new. So like what doesn't exist yet that I want or that I have wanted? There's a bunch of things me and Miguel have like basically been like, okay, we don't yet have like I don't know if Miguel could think of an example, but there's stuff that we brought to this industry that's like for example, for me in particular, there's not a lot of people in crypto who actually tell you their honest opinion. They think you're going to counter trade them. They think a lot of different things. And so for me, I just saw a lot of people out there kind of doing scarcity mindset type stuff. And so I was just like, okay, if I do the opposite, I'll differentiate myself that way. But I don't know if you have a better example, Miguel.
And you're pretty much asking like things in order to kind of speed up the adoption, basically of basically your sales funnel inside of a different industry, or because like it like at least from what I've seen, the best industries to get into are the ones that are kind of like the crypto ones where they're hot for 2 years and they're cold for 2 years. I mean, AI is one, crypto's one. I guess the whole AI thing kind of just went ChatGPT and stuff like that. But beforehand, it was like algorithms and stuff like that at that point, or YouTube trends sort of stuff. But it is really getting into the cyclical ones, because like something like Red Pill it consistently is like it can get like hot versus like more just moderately warm versus like crypto's cold and like inferno, and really no in between really. So those industries, it's a lot faster to get traction, because as it gets hot, they're just looking. So you're going to get searched up. And then from there, it's really being able to keep up the eyes on you at that in that industry and stuff like that. And the big thing too is just having a ton of like actually knowing like the words and vernacular and stuff for the industry. There's tons of people who like try to sell stuff and they don't know what the fuck they're talking. Like even if you read their sales letter, it doesn't even make fucking sense, like at all. Like at all. They're just putting they're just putting gibberish. They're like, hey, they're pretty much doing ChatGPT. Hey Siri, what am I supposed to write here? And then they put it up basically. But taking a little time to actually learn the industry will help you a lot in sales and stuff like that. Is that what specifically you're asking? Because it sounds like you're kind of looking for a space to kind of jump into.
Yeah. I mean, that was, you guys nailed it. I think Charlie, you mentioned something that I'm going to actually put in the chat here, which is that I'm quoting you, what doesn't exist. You want to add what doesn't exist yet in the space that you want to get involved with, that your customer would want, that is not being.
and a lot of people think, like, okay, I should go and do some A/B testing. I got to do a lot of fancy shit to figure out what the customer actually wants.
Right.
But at some point, you were the customer, right? In the same industry, most likely. So what is missing from that you want, right? And just create something that you would like. I think there's too many people who try to, pretend out there or try to create something for a problem that doesn't exist. And I think the thing Miguel said about, just being an expert at it, right? You want to get a little bit obsessed with the niche you're in. And so by being obsessed, I think you will already know kind of those pain points that a lot of other customers are having. And so the newer the industry is, I think the more obvious those things are and the easier they are to solve. If you're going into, something that's existed like, HVAC systems, for example, right? Like getting into a space like that for business is going to be a hell of, hard time compared to anything that's brand new. And
Yeah,
I
and
think,
Sean has a great point in there too. Like adding taxes to just about anything in finance is pretty like that it's a
Right.
pretty open lane, especially if you really niche yourself in the tax. But like right now in crypto, you're a tax person in crypto, like Jesus Christ, it's like it's a wild, wild west. I mean, it's all open. It's like all for the taking, basically.
yeah, and one other thing, I mean, similar to what Mike said earlier, in terms of show your success, right? Show people what's up about your brand, what's different, rather than just telling them, because, and that's something, that's true with movies, storytelling, media, everything. I think, most people, they're just like, oh, okay, then, and that's what we do by giving our show for free, pretty much, every day. Is a way that, I think Mike mentioned earlier, it's a way to value add for people that don't even need to buy the course, right? So they can scale up to the value proposition. I think Russell Brunson, right? He's head of ClickFunnels. He had a really good book. I forgot the name of it off the top of my head, but it was like he has a series of like different marketing secrets books is how he titles them. And one of them basically talks about value ladder, right? And so sometimes people want to go for, hey, I just want to sell a high ticket item right away. But start with, I started with consultations. I can sell my time first, right? And then use that money to scale up from there.
That's amazing. Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Beautiful. Crypto Rain, what's your question? Oh, sorry, Ben. Go ahead and unmute yourself.
The book was
There we go. Hey, what's up, guys? Good to meet you. Obviously in the crypto space myself, I have a YouTube channel, and I have a course. What methods are you using? Did you say you were just promoting it through your YouTube videos?
Yes.
Or what promotion methods have you seen used? 15,000 sales is pretty amazing.
Yeah. So I
Go
mean,
ahead.
you want to go, Charlie, first? Go
No,
for
no,
it.
no. Jump
Oh,
on.
okay. Yeah. So at first, yeah, you have to create like obviously like a fan base or a follower group and stuff like that. So I mean, pretty much it's just giving as much like free content as you can, and then basically showing value over a significant period of time. I mean, before me and Charlie even decided to do like a crypto course at all, I think I'd been running my channel for maybe a year and some change. Charlie had been like almost 3 years plus at that point. And it was one other helpful thing was basically that we weren't just one dimensional. Even though we talked crypto, we were a part of a different community. So both me and Charlie were a part of the Red Pill. So we kind of fused, Red Pill connections with cryptocurrencies and taught like a very like, this industry is hungry for education in terms of, money, muscles, game, frame. It's really the big four, right? And definitely we're the money side. So that's kind of what we did there. And then at that point, it was really just collaboration with crypto YouTubers and kind of really niching into with all these interviews. Just literally like Michael Sartain doesn't say no to an interview, which is why he's growing so quickly. The same thing with his Instagram and everything else. But that is a real thing. Tons of guys are really afraid to just do it because if you do something dumb, oh well, it's going to be forgotten about, really, unless it's like glorious. All hail crypto rain.
So it's pretty much just on your YouTube channel, because I've been in the space for 7 years, 3 years with the YouTube channel. I have 22,000 subscribers.
Beautiful.
Recently produced the course, but I haven't ventured down like Instagram, ClickFunnels. I haven't actually used Instagram hardly at all in crypto. As you know, YouTube and Twitter are the big avenues within crypto. So a lot of it comes through some collaboration with the Red Pill space, because there's a lot of people in Red Pill space that are hungry for crypto. And I've seen your guys' content. I actually like the direction you guys go, which is awesome. A lot of YouTubers I'm not a big fan of because they're not good crypto investors. I agree
Yeah.
with your guys' fundamental principles, right? Except I don't agree on hex. I
know
I
a
wasn't
lot
an
of,
early
a lot of
investor
people.
in hex.
You wouldn't be
I
a
didn't
crypto
agree
channel
with
if you
Hex from the
weren't,
very
right?
beginning. But I came around. But we could talk about that.
Yeah, I made a lot of money from hex, but I felt like initially the risk to return was really good. But now that it's gone up so much, the risk versus the reward is just I just don't like the odds as much. So
Pulse chain. I parlay it into pulse chain, basically is what I did. I took Hex was my biggest profitable position in the last bull market, took all the profits from there, put them into Pulse, and Pulse has that same
same
risk to reward.
mechanism. So it's mostly from like collaborations and YouTube. So you haven't yet done any Instagram click funnels or anything like that. It's mostly just
we have
collaborations.
So we have and stuff like that, but I wouldn't say like the Instagram side just started actually picking up numbers. But the thing is we only do sales. We only do those kind of sales when we actually push out the course. So we're doing tons of free content on Instagram as well. I've been able to grow the Instagram site to over like 55,000 on Instagram.
Nice.
And but beforehand, I would say even 3 months ago, the Instagram was probably like 28,000, and I was probably converting like maybe 100 people in sales at that point. But that was like DMing, I was having like mass DMing everybody on my Instagram list, and then following up from there, and then had my somebody from our team kind of following up with somebody, and then from there, getting them in. So that was a lot of work, but it did translate to a lot of sales. I mean, it was over 100 new people, and we've been able to retain over 80 of them throughout.
Crypto course, what is the price range that's in?
$998.
Yeah,
$998. So almost 1K, just under 1K.
Yeah.
Cool.
But I think what you have to look at is you have to look at both sales and marketing as kind of separate skill sets, because what you're doing on social media is marketing, right? You're just looking to grow your base there versus sales. I think a lot of people in crypto, the mistake that they tend to make is they feel bad about selling, or they don't like to sell or whatever. So like for me, I was a recruiter headhunter in Tokyo before I started the channel. And so, I had to go out, and it was basically door-to-door sales to some extent, right? You have to go out there and network and do all that stuff. So for me, when I get into selling mode, people in crypto say, oh, you're shilling something. Well, one of the phrases I use is, if you can't shill yourself, what can you shill, right? So if you can't sell yourself, what can you sell? So
and that's gigantic, by the way. Like, people underestimate
yeah.
what Charlie just said right there, because that's one of the most important. Because in crypto, you have a huge attack vector. Like,
everybody's communist in crypto.
Yeah, everyone's a commie, right? When it comes to that, but they're not commies for like whoring themselves out to an exchange, whoring themselves out to give like ref links to trading.
They'll let other people make money for them, and then just skim off the top, and they'll at the detriment of their customers, to be honest, right? But
that's
when they
most
actually
of
know
the
the
revenue
value
on
that
most of the channels, right? Is shilling crap or shilling bad projects, which hurt their viewers.
Right.
So
and
make something that's good, shill that, and then leverage that outside of crypto, right? Don't just stick in crypto, because 99% of people who will be in crypto are not yet in crypto as well.
All right.
The true.
Beautiful.
Cool.
Crypto Ray, did that help you out?
Yeah, that was great. Thank you, Michael.
Beautiful, man.
Thank you, guys.
Let's do this real quick. Peter, what's your question?
Hi, good evening, sir. First of all, wanted to say thank you for your service. I'm an Army ROTC myself, so
awesome.
I'm going to go into
Peter.
being an officer. But I got just my main question for you is, so I started my digital marketing company about 2-3 months ago. I'm just kind of getting into the space. I mainly specialize in copywriting. I'm actually going through Tate's mentorship program right now, The Real World. But I wanted to ask, what outreach methods would you recommend just as a new business? Because obviously right now I've only been in business so long, and I just really want to get my name out there and just gain credibility, even though I don't have a lot of work experience.
Got it. Does anybody, do you guys want to answer this before I do?
I would have answered it with the same answer that you gave to the other guy, which is, in terms of the restaurant stuff. Which is, I get emails all the time. I get DMs all the time of different, YouTube editors and people like this. And they never show me, A, that they're competitive, in terms of pricing, and then B, that they can do something better, or that, they don't try to go and be like, okay, hey, here's a pain point I saw on your channel that I thought maybe you need to improve on. like actually engaging with something tangible, like showing what you can do, then also, doing some sort of diagnostic without assuming too much, right? Because if you do a diagnostic, you might offend the customer as well. But I would say that would be my main thing there, but probably not too different from the other answer.
Yeah. So what I'm going to tell you is the places you have for outreach are going to be paid, organic, and affiliate. That's kind of the ways that I look at it. And affiliate, I'll also include referrals. So for paid, that's usually something you're not going to start off with. If you have the money to do it, you can budget it, you can. You'd be surprised how many sales you can make if you have a good product for spending $5, $10 a day on Facebook Ad Manager. You actually can pull some stuff off. The organic part is, you need to show a certain level of competency. I like doing that through a podcast. There's other ways to do it, but a podcast is a really great way to do it. You constantly need to provide value to the audience that you eventually want to sell to. And then so that's how organic would work. And then with paid, a lot of times what you can do is take some of your best organic pieces and turn those into advertisements. And then there's the other option. The other thing you have is, are you direct to cart or are you doing like telephone sales? So generally the number is about $3,000. If you're selling something below $3,000, you can go direct to cart. If you're selling something above $3,000, you generally need a sales team somewhere in that area, 2,500, 3,000. And so that's the other thing that you have to worry about. But once you have money going, I would, I think it was Adam Lyons who told me this. He spends 50% of his revenue on advertising. Like he just all he cares about is expansion. That's how I am too. Like if I had to go without money for a while, but MOA quadrupled in size, I would do that in 2 seconds. We can't spend money fast enough on ads because Facebook Ad Manager won't let us spend any more money than we're doing right now. So they kind of curtail how far you can go. And because our ROI is so insanely high, I think it's still over 12-1 ROI on our ads.
Wow.
Because of that, we can't spend enough money. And so we just keep pushing up the levels until the sales team breaks. And once the sales teams break, you have to increase the capacity on the sales team. Once you increase the capacity on the sales team, you got to work on organic. It's just like that whole thing, the marketing part that leads to sales. It is the most important part of your car. It's the engine.
Makes sense. Thank you. One more quick question. Just like, so as I'm exploring the whole copywriting space, I'm kind of curious, like, should I really focus on mastering the copywriting skill as opposed to the other digital marketing skills? Or because what I'm trying to figure out is like the real connection and profit value that copywriting has, so that I can hopefully maximize my skills that are the most in demand.
So what's the question more time? You want to know whether or not copywriting?
Yeah, what I'm trying to figure out is just as a digital marketer, like, would copywriting be the thing I should focus on, or should I really try to focus on helping businesses do things like email marketing, setting up good advertisements, SEO, like web building?
This is so difficult to answer, and the reason why is because you'd have to figure out what the moat and what your competition is like in each one of those industries. I know that if you're a good copywriter, it's like being a good sales guy. You're always going to be able to find a job. I don't know if the same thing applies with SEO. I think SEO is super competitive, and the markups are nowhere near they were like 15 years ago when everyone was trying to place first on Google. It's very different now. I don't care about placing first on Google. I care about placing first on Instagram's fucking explore page way more than I care about placing on Google. And so the world has changed significantly. It's not SEO. There's an algorithm now that decides whether or not you have been chosen this week or not chosen. And you can throw a little bit of money, give them a couple of shekels in there, and then all of a sudden they push your shit up to the top. You can do that on TikTok. You can do that on YouTube. You can do that on Instagram. Facebook Ad Manager. Right now, the best ROI we're getting is from Facebook, which is Facebook and Meta, which is Facebook and Instagram. So, I mean, but I can't answer the question. I don't know. If you guys have an opinion about any of those things, like every time I mention an industry that I think you can make a lot of money in, it's usually already too late. Like it's saturated, like real estate or trying to sell solar door to door. Like we're just kind of past that, One that I haven't seen people flood into where you can make a lot of money is reverse life insurance. I haven't seen a ton of people get into that.
Funeral house game, brother. Not sure.
Bro, no. I have one client who's a mortician. Bro, it was like everybody else is losing their job. And this guy was like, yeah, during COVID, I was fucking crushing it. It was crazy. You gotta talk about it. If you tell me right now, hey Michael, we're gonna give you 50% of these, 500 mortician chain. Would you take? I'd be like, yeah, it sounds like a good investment to me. That sounds like one of those things they ain't never going to go out of business. That sounds incredible. Yeah.
I do see one big opportunity. It's not, I mean, it's in the real estate niche, but it's, I mean, besides, like mobile homes, because I mean, that's something that I've talked a lot with Justin Waller and stuff, because he's investing heavily in that space. But it'd probably be in like 2 years, once like in 2026, the rates are going to come down to like 2.9%. Jerome Powell has basically said that in 2026 it should drop to 2.9. That means a normal 30-year mortgage should be like 3.94%. You have a lot of people that want to sell their homes and they want to move, but they can't, because it doesn't matter. Like, they'll get a nice chunk of cash, but the payment's going to be higher than the payment they currently have, or it's going to be ridiculous, basically, because they're used to paying like $2,000, $1,500 mortgages, and then they go to like an equal house in a different state and they're paying like 5,000, 6,000, which is crazy to them. It's 7 or 8%. So there's going to be a lot of moving and stuff that's going to happen probably end of 25, early 2026. So that part of real estate, if you created some sort of business to help people like kind of bird dog and find places to move to and stuff like that, or
sure,
you probably make some good money like that, or kind of figure out where a lot of people are kind of migrating to and stuff, because I know Vegas, Texas, and Florida are just expanding like crazy right now. A little bit of Reno as well.
For sure. All right. Well, thank you very much. Very good answers. So thank you very much.
All right, guys. So I have a meeting here with Middle Class Dan here in about 30 minutes. Some of you guys know who I'm talking about. So I got to get off here in about 30 minutes. So we're going to try to get through these quicker. One thing I like to do in the speed round, and this is actually not just for my own convenience, it's actually to help you figure out a way to express the issue you have in 2 sentences. Because a lot of times when you're around that person who can help you, that's all the fucking time he has. Valuable people don't have a lot of time. So coming on here and be like, Michael, I was seeing this girl. And so first off, let me tell you, like, I was in a weird mood one day, and then she came home, and then she stayed out all night with someone else. When you could have just said, hey, Michael, my girl fucked some other dude. You could have just like one sentence, could have said it all. So guys, figure out a way, instead of thinking your issue is unique. I'm not criticizing anyone who's already been on the call, by the way. Instead of thinking your issue is unique and you need 17 paragraphs, try to do it in 1 or 2 paragraphs. Got it? So let's do it. Carnegie, what's your question?
Hey, gentlemen, afternoon. Okay, so quick question. My question is, how do I approach being like the crypto guy in forms of networking? I want to be able to like offer value, but because it's so hot and cold, I don't want to come off as a gnat.
And what part are you doing, like LinkedIn sort of stuff, or like corporate world, or like where are you trying to get big in crypto?
Not so much big in crypto, but yeah, more so like in the workplace, or maybe small groups. Like, I have a lot of knowledge in crypto, but it's hard to bring it up without, because if it's really hot, then everyone's kind of asking, like, maybe they'll ask a lot of questions about it. But when it's really cold, everyone's kind of like, oh, the crypto guy. But I don't know how to like breach that.
It's kind of like, right, everyone knows what Dogecoin is, right? It's kind of like following the meme trends, like so everyone's gonna know what Dogecoin, Ethereum, Bitcoin, and SHIB are. And it's basically going from XRP, maybe a little bit if they're more corporate-y. It's just kind of going from there in order to kind of hook them in, and just kind of like, have you heard what's going on here and here? I think like it's like probably like one of the worst things to do in that sense is try to like, ooh, I'm in this, unless you've made a ton of money on that coin recently for some reason. Either you hook them in with greed, or you hook them in with like this stuff. I've been in the space for a long time. It's about to take off. I've already made a little bit of money and stuff like that. And then you hit them with like keywords that they would know, like Bitcoin, Ethereum, SHIB, and then that'll be able. And then from there, you just kind of help them on board from there. But it just depends if you're trying to make a business out of it, or just trying to be like the guy, the crypto guy of that group.
At the moment, I'm more so focused in like the cyber tech sector. So not so much as a business, just being like the guy, like, hey, at work, by the way, he also knows a lot about crypto.
Oh, and yeah, talk all that stuff up and everything like that, and then kind of show people, or talk about like, oh, I know how to track transactions on Etherscan, PulseScan, the SolScan and stuff like that. And then just because that's really gonna be the big thing, is that you're able to track where money goes. That is like incredible, because then there's like, and then it showed like, oh yeah, so this guy recently got hacked. I was able to track the money. Like I saw where it went to, and this, and you know, I'm looking that'll put you on a different level, because then they're like, oh man, this guy actually really understands this stuff because he's able to track it and stuff. And tracking it's not that difficult with where it's just a little time consuming. So it's like, just, I mean, that's the big thing with it and stuff. I mean, Ethereum transactions are a lot more easier to track. Bitcoins are a little bit more annoying, but you can track them. I mean, everything's trackable, outside of maybe Monero, but like there's I've heard there's ways people can do it and stuff if they know through exchanges you touch and stuff like that. But one of the big things with Monero is like, if you have to leave your coins in a wallet for a certain amount of time, because if you move it too quickly, they can't track you and stuff like that through even Monero and stuff. So you have to be kind of careful. But that's getting like in the really dorky, like we're getting dorky now.
Awesome. Yeah, I feel like I start off there sometimes. Thank you guys. Yeah, that's perfect.
Beautiful. Michael Hardesty, what's your question?
Hey, so you guys mentioned that the accounting and taxes sector of crypto might be a big opportunity. Can you elaborate on that a little bit more? Or did I misunderstand you?
Yeah, no. It's a huge sector. I mean, basically, pretty much like right now, I mean, just now that we got the spot ETF, you finally can have some of these, these guys who are managing funds and people that manage retirement funds are finally able to invest in those. I think they asked like half of CPAs and stuff, like half of CPAs like were investing in crypto but couldn't tell their clients because they weren't able to. Now that they can invest in Bitcoin, at least for the first time now, you're going to start getting a lot of these accountants and stuff and CPAs and stuff trying to get into the space. But on the tax side, basically no one, like, taxes in crypto aren't that difficult. It's just the software isn't there really. I mean, Coinly is probably like the best thing you can use right now in terms of taxes, but even then you have to input data yourself because it's not perfect. So a lot of these tax preparers or tax people are just don't know it, don't understand the vernacular. So by just understanding what the space is and kind of how things move, what like yield farming is versus staking versus like you're taking in and out of LPs or just holding the coin for a year, you're able to then help people out and figure out some tax strategies, or just tell a guy like, hey, don't move this coin for another 3 more months, or like sell it on December 31st and buy it back in January 1st and stuff, because you'll be able to pretty much take a loss right there and like lower your taxes for the year. Like there's a bunch of these tips and tricks you can figure out, and people will pay a lot of money for that because people need help with this stuff. Like really, there's the competition so low. I mean, if you can do taxes and understand the vernacular of crypto, like, oh my God, like you can make a fortune, because there's no competition.
You can cover, the better too, because if you only cover like, hey, I'm only available in the Midwest, or I'm only available in Florida or whatever, then you're going to limit yourself on customers. But if you could be like, hey, I know tax code in the United States and I'm certified here, but then I know it in every state, but then maybe also in somewhat related countries as well for expats or something, the more broad you can be with the tax information itself, the more successful you'll be as well. But taxes in crypto right now, there's so many people who are scared of crypto that know about taxes that they're not even willing to learn about it. So if you have those two expertises coming together, you got like a true superpower.
And on top of that, too, if you have clients that have actually made a lot of money in crypto, because you'll know which clients are like, wow, these guys made a lot of money, they might be considering moving. You could actually make quite a lot of money from actually referring people to, like, this person wants to escape taxes next year because he got bit in the butt real bad. He wants to move to Puerto Rico. You can refer them to somebody down there, make a really good fee on that, or like they want to go out to Dubai or this and this, and just being that kind of liaison to like getting them anywhere they need to be for tax reasons to kind of get away from that. Crypto people are very motivated to move. They're like off the rip, they're like digital nomads pretty much.
So not even just doing taxes, like financial advising on like how to avoid taxes.
Yeah, how to avoid. Yeah, that's because that's on the tax side. Financial advice that'd be a whole separate thing. You'd have to you'd have to get certain certifications for that. But for the tax side.
Do you guys see what he's doing? They're talking about this. Well, I've talked about this several times. What problem are you solving? So for somebody who does taxes specifically on income, gains from capital gains, specifically from cryptocurrency, that's a specialty that's probably growing just as fast as that industry is. And nobody wants to go in there and try to do that thing. And you know what? It's probably not a super fun industry. You probably make a lot of money, but it's probably not a super fun thing to do. And so if you're willing to go and take that extra step to educate yourself, then you could probably make a lot of money doing that. Colton, what's your question, brother?
I think it was
Colton.
No.
Yeah, we can hear you now, Colton. No, Colton, we lost you again. We heard you for like a second. Yeah, Colton, we're not getting any audio. Sorry.
Hey,
yeah, we heard you for like a second there. I think that was you.
okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, perfect. Hopefully you got connected up with those podcasts that I sent you. I think those are great podcasts for you to be on for MOA.
Okay.
Question for DMs on IG. Is the way to get around the message limit for inviting people to do it on story replies?
Yeah, so story replies is the way to do it on girls that you don't have open threads with. Yes, that's the way to do it. Definitely.
Okay, cool. That was my question.
So you can do that. You can pretty much do that infinitely. Instagram's never going to take that away because Instagram exists because women like attention. And if you reply to a woman's, so they'll always let you comment on their photos and they will always let you reply to their story, even if they won't let you DM them. Make sense?
Sounds good. That was my question.
They're willing to shoot themselves in the foot, but they're not going to shoot themselves in the dick. They're going to let you continue to reply to girls' stories. John Owley, what's your question?
Hey, Michael. Hello.
What's going on, man?
Just got a couple of quick ones. So, if you're doing a photo shoot, is it a must that the girls are in lingerie or bikinis? Because I see all the recap videos, and it's usually that. Like, if you're doing a photo shoot, is that a must?
It's definitely not a must. If you're doing a photo shoot at a crypto party, yes, they need to be in bikinis for sure. They need to be, and they all need to be. They need to have logos on them. You know, like a fucking Bitcoin on here, right here. No, John, it doesn't matter. So, John, so let me explain to you how this works. Ready? For any of you guys trying to throw an event, theme party, or whatever, when you tell women they have to show up in lingerie, a bunch of them will be like, "Fuck this, I'm not coming." When you tell women they can wear anything they want, they will show up and take off all their clothes and shoot nude. Okay. When you try to control them and what they do, they fight back. When you don't control them, they start drinking and getting naked. Okay. Make sense? And by the way, that's not the point of the photo shoot. Obviously, the point of the photo shoot is for the girls to get as much content as possible. It's not supposed to be lead gen for your dating life. It is a place for you to network with people, get really fucking great content, and make some fucking female teammates, female friends to help introduce you to other women. That's the point of the photo shoot. Got it? Gowns are totally fine. One of them I thought I really liked was called She Can Do Both. And it showed girls and they were in like these cocktail dresses, and then it showed them in their work outfit.
All right.
Does it make sense?
Yeah. So our last one is just so I've done a few podcasts, and I mean it's picking up steam. I've got like 40,000 views on YouTube so far, and I'm just experimenting like random trending topics like the war and things. Like is it worth, because I'm just kind of starting out, is it worth posting clips onto your IG grid? Like,
I definitely think it is. But I definitely think it is for no other reason than IG likes that kind of content. When they see a microphone in front of you, you just get more leeway, right? There's a microphone in front of me. There's not big fake titties. Big fake titties, ban, IG deactivated. They see a microphone, they're like, oh, this is a content that we may be able to run ads on. This person may have an audience that may have purchasing power. There's a microphone here. You see what I'm saying? It's just that I noticed that when I post lifestyle content on TikTok, my shit goes down. When I post podcast stuff on my TikTok, I can talk about fucking anything.
No, you mean like you're okay to put clips on your main grid even though you're just starting out and it's not established?
Yeah. But here's the thing. So the reason why I say yes is because if you change your mind and you want to take them off your grid, that's what I used to do. I took my old ones off the grid and I just kept it on the Reels tab. It's totally acceptable to do that. Some people like that. Like, so if you're a girl, you'll notice a lot of females, they'll have a grid full of like really, really nice photos of them. And then when they post a new reel, it'll be up there for a little bit. Then they'll take it off the grid and it'll just be on the reel tab. And the reality is it kind of works the same. Like whenever I see, like, that's the greatest way to figure out if you're getting catfished. If you see a girl and she looks really pretty, just go to the Reels tab. Any sort of motion video of her in a reel, you can quickly tell whether you're getting catfished.
Okay. So you can take it off. You can take it off, so it's fine. You can just post it, I think. Yeah.
Yep. Cool. Anybody else have any questions before we run? Man, I want to thank Charlie and Miguel. Where can they get a hold of you?
Yeah, you can find me at Dollar Cost Crypto, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Everything, everywhere you can imagine. I'm verified on everything.
Oh, what is your show about?
It is mostly about just what's going on in the crypto market, as well as basically some of the most opportune times in order to buy some cryptos and stuff like that, and kind of when's not the best time to buy. Like when we were going, but like a month ago, everything was going crazy, and I was kind of telling guys, hey, our guys are making in profits, but we're not. I'm kind of waiting until the prices go in the red. Don't buy on red, not green. It should be pretty it should be pretty evident, but people forget, people fall into FOMO, you know.
Yeah, you can find me everywhere as well at Cultivate Crypto. And then on Friday, we actually have our course coming out, cryptomindsetcourse.com is the website for that. If you want to learn a little bit more about it, or just come over to either Dollar Cost Crypto's channel on YouTube or Cultivate Crypto on YouTube as well.
I love it, man. If you guys ever want to compare notes on how your funnel works or anything like that, please definitely hit me up, because that's what I'm. That recently in the last 2 years, it's what I've become obsessed with. Grant Jordan, who's my who's the CMO of my company, he's built a funnel for us, and we've been experimenting with a couple of things, and I'm just trying to learn as much as I can. So really great to have you guys on. Anytime I see anybody with a profitable business on there and they're doing it from home, and they're wearing a fucking t-shirt, or they're wearing shorts, and they're doing it from their fucking house, or they're living in Puerto Rico because it's 4% federal tax. Anytime I meet someone like that, I just want to learn everything that these guys know, because that didn't exist. For those of you who are not old enough to remember, back in the 1980s, people who managed finances were old white dudes who went to an Ivy League school in the Northeast, and they were overweight, and they wore a fucking tie to work every day. But today it's not like that. Now it's dudes with tattoo sleeves who wear fucking sweatpants and hoodies and drive a Lamborghini. It's a different world now. It's a different world. All right, guys. Hey, man, thank you guys. Hold on. Dennison, you had a question? Dennison, what's your question?
Hey, it was actually just a quick value add, because I thought that, gentlemen, do you know about Earn Your Leisure, the podcast?
I've heard of it, but I haven't watched too much of it.
Okay, cool. I just thought that would be a really cool interview or conversation between you two. Basically, they're really interested in teaching about wealth and teaching about ways of investing and things like that. There's not a lot of people talking about crypto, and since you two are like some of the most knowledgeable, and I follow you and I follow them, and I add those information, I think that you would enjoy a conversation with those two gentlemen. They have a festival called Invest Fest. They had Kathy Wood talking crypto and Bitcoin, and I don't know. I just thought you might want to maybe connect or see what they're about, and maybe something could happen in the future with.
Yeah, 100%. We will, if we can, or Michael can. I mean, we'd love to. Yeah, man. That space is growing like crazy right now. It's shout out to Fresh and Fit, man.
Yeah. That's all. Thank you very much for all the tips.
Awesome, man. I'll talk to you guys soon. Have a good week. For those of you who are interested in the course, like if you guys want to learn more, tomorrow we're doing our Men of Action Tuesday call. This is our big group call for all the guys that are in the program. If you guys are interested in learning more, if you guys want to go check out that school server that I showed you before, it's school.com/Men of Action free. If you guys want to go check that out, please join the free school server. Please, guys, like at least be a part of that. It's totally free. Nobody's asking you for any money in there, and there it is right there. And for those of you who want to learn even more than that, and you're like, hey man, Michael, I just want to get into the program. I see the results, and I've talked to about 500 people that are in MOA, and I'd love to get to know more. Just go to MOAmentoring.com. But don't do it while you're at work, because my website is definitely not safe for work. You will get fired. All right. Awesome. Love talking to you guys. For those of you who are, I'll see you in 2 weeks. For those of you, we'll do another free call in 2 weeks. We're going to do Access Vegas this Thursday. We have a bunch of, I think we have it's because it's AVN, a bunch of porn stars are going to come on. And then for those of you who are in MOA, I will see you guys